We dedicate this season to friend of the pod, Christian Salisbury. A life and talent taken from the herd way too early. He will be remembered for his speed and agility, but most of all his smile and infectious enthusiasm. If you're able, go to the link in the description and donate to the Christian Salisbury Memorial Fund and help more kids like Christian find their way to professional football. Carry that rock in peace, my friend. You will be missed.
Care who it is, this is a brotherhood, and if we stand strong together, we can't be denied. If one of us goes down, we have another, and another, and another that's ready to fight. So let's hit this field and bang them, bang them, bang them. Somebody light me up.
It's time to huddle up. It's the Turf District Podcast. Welcome back to the Turf District, where we huddle up to talk all things Edmonton Elks and the CFL. And we're a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network. It's Turf District Tuesdays. Welcome back to the show. If you're watching on YouTube or you've downloaded the podcast or you're listening on Edmonton Sports Talk Radio, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And we have a very fun guest. We've got lots to talk about. If you could do us a favor while you're here, if you've got any questions, throw them in the chat down below. If you've got a chance to share the show, please do that. Give it a little thumbs up. Ring the bell, do all the things, all the stuff that's for free that helps to get the show out and get to more people. So thank you very much for joining us. Let's bring in the regular crew. There they are. One superfan, Mike.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
I don't know if I loved it as like and subscribe, but I kind of like it changing every week.
Well, once in a while, we just got to keep everyone on their toes.
That's well, it's funny. That's exactly what you said last week.
I know.
We're excellent.
I'm consistent at the same time.
Excellent. Commissioner, how are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
It totally sounds put on.
Oh,
Did you want to try that again? Or okay.
super duper. I'm just like, I really don't want to talk about this game because I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember a dang thing about it.
That was
And
a really good.
Well, then we
tailgate.
can make it up.
and I wasn't home yesterday to rewatch it, and I was going to after dinner tonight, and then I went out and picked tomatoes and potatoes and
That sounds
adult.
way more fun.
Anyway, so this is gonna be great. I'm gonna answer nothing.
This is gonna be great. I'm so if tune in to the Turf District podcast for an informed view of the Edmonton Elks and their games. That's right.
Cliff
Try
D
so
already
hard.
playing the creepy old man, so this is good.
Oh well, yes. What is he doing now?
What would the podcast be without some creep?
Kayla looking hot. HAWT.
Oh well then. All
I
right.
spelled it right. Good job.
Yeah.
That's as long as he spelled it right. That's good.
Yeah.
You might notice that Mike and I are wearing matching shirts.
It's
There
true.
they are. God save the Dean, as it should be.
Yes,
Thank you very much
autographed and
to
everything.
Emma. Yes, autographed
And
on
Rachel.
the same shoulder. We both got the same shoulder and everything.
That's
So
true.
they're matchies. So
That's
we
true.
got to, we're there for our man Dean Faithful. So,
Yeah, thanks to Emma and to Rachel who made them up. So.
Yeah, that was amazing, and for them finding us after the game to give us those, and then we got to bug Dean and get a chance to get them all signed up. And
Right.
it was amazing. So hey, did you see the video with him going to the Bret Michaels concert?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was like, wow, we're really now that's funny because I thought he was supposed to be going to the mountains with his family, but
Well,
there he is.
he can see his family anytime.
Correct. Yeah, they're close.
Maybe
Bret
that's
Michaels'
now.
extended family.
Yeah. It's very true. It's very true. All right, let's bring in our guest because
Yes.
we haven't had him on in quite a while.
Oh.
Now, our guest used to be one of the original co-hosts of
OG.
the original Eskimo Empire, and has joined us many times now as a featured fan. And he is back to chat with us once again. Welcome back, Josh. I'm so glad you're back.
Hello.
Oh, well done.
Well done. That's good.
This is part of my British heritage.
Excellent.
I can relate, Mr. Faithful. I can relate, and
That's-
this is foreshadowing a future thing that I'm bringing back with this podcast, a list that I brought back to the last time I was on the
Excellent.
podcast, and it's all been inspired by the commissioner.
Oh, I love it. I love the lists. I love the lists. Okay, we have some questions for you first, and then we'll cover the list. But I want to ask you first. We've basically reached the end of another home season. We've got the one away game left, but give us your assessment on the team from this year, from beginning to end.
I remember reading somewhere, and I can't remember if it was Dave Naylor at TSN or somebody else at TSN, Ford.
Dwayne Ford.
Wayne Ford. It could have been both of them, but they said that Trey Ford is at 40% of where he could possibly be, which is scary about where this. When you think about it, and my son and I have talked about it. My son, who's now playing with the AOB Crusaders as quarterback, just a little.
Yes,
Nice.
absolutely.
That's just a dad thing.
Yeah.
So he is. Can you imagine? Like, this would be halfway. This would be the Labor Day moment. This would be halfway of the season if Trey Ford had started.
Mhm.
Can you
Right.
imagine where we could go had there been that time for him? Even the way he talks in the post game about what he knows that he can do better next time shows to me how mature he is. I'm so hopeful for where it can go, and I don't. I mean, yeah, sure, we lose really badly like we did before, and we're all like, but when he comes out of it, and even in your article, Andrew, in 3 Down, he says, this I have to do differently. I need to spot the hole. I need to take it rather than just do it. This is a guy who's midway through his season, not at the end of the season where everybody else is.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and
Sociable.
something to keep in mind. Yay. That's what I have today. I'm a hurting unit. I can't. Geez, I didn't even bring water down. Anyway, this will be,
Albertan.
when we get towards the end, I'm going to be like It's going to be interesting. I do have a fridge close by if need be. So we get there's emergency fridge. We can just put it on standby. I can grab it. We'll all be fine.
Emergency beers. We all need them.
But anyway, tell me,
team.
like, Superfan, I'm super curious. Like, do you agree with the TSN panelists? Like, do you feel like he's not even halfway where he could be at?
Yeah, I mean, actually, the last week or two, I've been watching stuff from 1988, 89, and you see that Tracy Ham comparison. And compare Tracy Ham at that point with Tracy Ham closer to the end of his career with Montreal. And you can see that difference because, I mean, in 89, he was the MOP.
Yeah.
And when you saw, it wasn't his physical skills that necessarily got better. It was his mental skills and how he thought the game. And I think that's where you're going to see the most change in Trey Ford is he's going to be able to have it slow down even more for himself, be able to look off defensive backs, to make better decisions sometimes with the ball if his first option isn't always open. And the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, tons of potential.
Yeah.
I think that the bringing in the offensive coordinator, Jarius Jackson, made a heck of a difference. It's interesting to see them revert to the cautiousness, like you even wrote about, Andrew.
Yeah.
That when it gets tight. But I think there's something missing about depth on this team, where when somebody goes down on the secondary, it's this gaping hole every single time, and I can see everyone nodding, and I think that, and this is so weird because I've never seen everyone nod on the podcast unless we're all in the same room. But where it will be interesting is when we get to the BC, Winnipeg, even Montreal Toronto point, where we've got this next man up that can fill in the gap without us going, oh my God, Niles Morgan is down. What are we going to do? We're like, yeah, we're fine. That'll be interesting to see how we evolve.
And I think that's part of the 3-year build, right? You find your guys, and then you fill in the guys behind them, or you find guys that are even better than the guys you did find, and then the guys that were good last year that fit in now become your backups. And do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's all part of that, taking the team from nothing and building it up, right? So it's kind of cool.
We have to be patient, like you said.
Exactly.
Yep, for sure. Supervan.
Just as an aside, apparently Josh is going by his pseudonym of Tim Capper.
Oh,
in the chat. So,
well, let me just fix that right now.
There we go.
It happens sometimes. It happens.
To be fair,
I told Tim it's like looking in a mirror.
Dana Carvey as well. Dana Carvey.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That I can see. That I can totally see. Yeah, I totally see that.
Commissioner, my wife
Not worthy. We're not worthy.
Even my wife, we were watching SNL and Carvey's hosting it, and I said, hold on a second. She's like, what? Just wait. And he walks out to go to do his monologue, and she's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I said, yeah.
I can never unsee that. I love it.
Satan? Yeah.
See, now anyone listening right now needs to come to the video and see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who wore it better?
After the shore was down, look up
their face. So isn't that special? So obviously, talking about the game, one of the things we loved of this season, and it's probably one of our favorite parts of the season, is tailgate. You took in another season of tailgating as well. They expanded quite a bit. What was your impression of the experience this season?
They can only get better with having more people, and you guys talked about it last week too. The Spirit of Edmonton has, I think, led that charge.
Sure.
And I think that there are what they figured out is there's a place to have the big party. If you want to come, like oh my God, I just forgot his name, the Spirit of Edmonton.
Jerry.
Yeah. So when Jerry said that they had 2,000 people come at a regular basis, I'm like, oh my God, but I can see that because the Cordies we're good friends with the Cordies. We're good friends with the Dolls. The Dolls are with the Cordies as well. They're right beside. Their son Tanner played with Ottawa, and Garrett used to play with the Calgary Stampeders in the 80s. and they were set up right with us. That when it all started, we were at stall 100, and then they set up the band, and we just the noise was too much for us, and we wanted to be able to talk without the party atmosphere. But we respect the fact that the people who want to come and do that kind of thing. And
Right.
so when we worked with Michelle at the office, and this is part of what we need to talk about, is the customer service at the Elks for us is just outstanding. It is just outstanding. And part of reopening the adding those extra stalls, and I know that they had to work with the city at it, and it just elevates the experience all the more. Plus my son, who's 15, and Andrew, I know you can relate it just he just travels around to certain tailgate stalls and gets fed. So I mean, and then your son follows him, and they always end up back. And I said, aren't you Riley? Aren't you getting fed? No. I said, oh well, here you go.
Yeah, he finds his way around to food.
He gets fed plenty. I think he had 3 sandwiches.
Yeah,
at the last
everybody gets
tailgate,
fed.
so.
I have to mention it before we move too far away, though, too, Mike. Like my mouth is still watering at the thought of that Montreal. It was so good.
It was a fun experience for sure.
Man, that was amazing. When you put that piece of meat in the steamer, I was like, yeah, I know. Title of the podcast.
Yeah.
But when you put, I was like, wow, that is something. That was amazing. So anyway, just wanted to give you some kudos at the same time.
Very good.
Thank you for all of the work that you did on the tailgate this year.
It was a lot of fun.
That is kind of your baby, and I kind of ride your coattails. But it was.
Well, I don't know. That's that rye sourdough. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's some good stuff. Yeah,
that was something you could just have a piece of that bread and be done. I mean, even Tim Capper had some, and he doesn't like Montreal smoked meat. So
yeah,
I was touched that he was willing to, choke it.
Did you bake the bread, Andrew?
Oh
yes.
No. Wow.
I didn't have a sandwich. I don't know.
No. I visited my local Safeway.
Oh, well,
a sourdough rye was so good.
I never thought of that, but oh my god, it was amazing. Anyway, sorry, Josh, I'm derailing your whole tailgating experience.
I know all the food stuff is important. It's all important.
Yes, and Tallboy played at the tailgate this last time, which is going to be one of the bands that's at the Spirit Room. What I didn't realize is the lead singer is Jerry's son.
Oh no!
Cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And he was awesome.
I think speaking about the band though, last year I found they were a little loud, and this year they found a perfect happy medium where it's still present, but you can still talk over it. And I think it was just perfect this year. So kudos to them.
I think this is part of the customer service superfan. Victor came down, and I said, "Come and listen." Come and listen. It's really loud. And he did. And when I was like right beside his ear, and he's like, oh, this is really loud, isn't it? So I think he worked with everybody and found a way to find a balance so that you could still enjoy yourself and not have to scream over top of the band to be heard and still have a conversation with it. And I think that's what's so amazing about having more stalls. And I hope they keep expanding, because my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, everyone, is they make the team makes more money from the tailgate stalls than from the regular parking stalls, which I think are only for the box seats. And that's where the reserve seats are. But if they keep expanding it into the Clark Stadium access parking lot, then it creates that would itself create an entirely different experience for people who are over there. But that's what the tailgate is all about. It's these pods of people who are family or are friends. And it's incredible how quickly you become friends with the people around you.
For sure.
Well, and, in this particular tailgate, we had our friends from Montreal. We had, we had Dean Faithful's family come by. We had
Craig Ellis.
Phil come by. We had Craig Ellis. Yeah. We had Jamin.
Yeah, Craig Ellis. I met Craig Ellis. That's awesome.
And that's the thing. It's bringing all of these people together and just enjoying that moment of football before the game. And that's the part that to me, it's one of the major highlights of every home game now. It's so much fun.
And it's an experience you don't replicate on TV.
100%. And, Hundo P.
There it is.
But I do think, I mean, Kayla could tell you about the tailgate if she could remember it, but I don't
No,
know.
Hey, listen.
First of all, that was delish, by the way.
Oh, good Lord.
The wheat rye?
Oh, was that the first time you had it, Mike?
No, I had it before.
Oh, that's what. Okay.
But I mean, I had 2 shots this time, so you know.
You had how many?
I had just 2.
Oh, I thought you said 3. I'm like, wait, I only had 1. What's going on?
You had 2? How did you have 2?
You gave me 2.
Like I said, Kayla would tell you about the tailgate if she could.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because we had those 2 whiskeys, the one that Manon brought.
Yeah, and then we had that after as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe somebody gave you. Okay, but it doesn't matter. It was delicious.
Someone might have given you an extra one, and you just turned around and said, "Here, have it."
Maybe.
And
yeah.
who am I to say no?
Right. Right.
It'd be rude.
Way to go, Mike. Way to be the hero.
I know.
That's good. Yeah.
And but listen, I don't remember the game because I was chatting and having a blast.
That's part
for
of
the
my
most part.
that's part of my list. That's part of my list.
Oh, that's part of, excellent. Part of your list.
But if you talk about the people we meet, just as an aside as well. I mean, I have a video of my son as throwing the football to Brian Kelly. Like how
amazing.
How is that even possible? We all watch Brian Kelly as we're growing up, and here's my teenage son throwing the ball to him. Really? Like that? You can't. How do you do that? Or when because my daughter was in the halftime show at the Montreal game with everybody else, and with the hundreds of everybody on the field, which is lovely. And last year we came, so the whole family comes to watch her. And then as we were leaving last year, I saw the car drive out, and it was full of guys in suits. I'm like, this is suspect to me. And I walk up, and sure enough, Matt Dunnigan is in it. And I'm like, oh, it's Matt. And I'm wearing my number 16, and he stops the car. You can tell all the other guys are like, okay, we got to get to the airplane, wherever they were going. But I go to open the door. I can't. I was going to open it for him to be a gentleman, but I couldn't because the baby lock was on the inside. So they had to release it on the inside. My wife says, "Are you dragging Matt Dunnigan out of his car?"
Yes.
And I said, yes. And so he comes out and he poses with everybody. He signs autographs. My son throws a ball to Matt Dunnigan and vice versa. How do you replicate this? Like, you can't. I mean, that's what this is all about, this tailgating.
Amazing. All right.
Oh yeah. Oh, can we just talk about tailgate the whole time? Because like that would just be great. Well, you kind of mentioned a bit of the evolution for Trey Ford and just the football intelligence that he's incurred kind of throughout the season that he's been playing. But overall, what do you see the biggest strengths of the team have been, and the biggest areas of growth or potential that we still need to see?
I find that when they're on as a unit, it's magical. There's something, and again, please fill me in for what the insight that you all have, because I cannot understand how we go like the first 9 games, and we have what's our total yardage? 58 yards on the ground. And then
probably
in the next 2 games. And again, I understand these are all lower tier teams that we played when we came back after the first bye, but we overshadowed the entire yardage on the ground in the first 2 games than we did the entire previous 9 games. So what changes that the offensive line does? What changes that the receivers do? Trey Ford is obviously a factor. Jarius Jackson is always a factor. But what I'm impressed with is that when it comes time to make changes, they clearly do. They adjust somehow, and suddenly everything is different. Now, that to me is a sign of true athleticism and good coaching. So they understand, and I'm a Chris Jones fan, and I always will be, because I believe that he is a football god. And if he says, I needed to wait until the bye to do this, got it, coach. I totally understand, because clearly whatever you decided you needed to do made a difference. And this is a really roundabout way, Commissioner, to say that they have this ability to adjust, whether even during the game. We've seen it before, maybe not against the upper tier teams, but I think that's a depth problem, like we discussed earlier. And if we can see this kind of adjustment, this kind of change, this kind of understanding of how we play as athletes, then we will see right out of the gate next year something different.
Right.
Oh, I like that.
I think that's pretty positive. Yeah, I agree. Like I've said throughout the season, like I don't really care the reasons because they're over. We can't go back and change.
Mm-hmm.
And like for me personally, I don't know if Trey Ford would be Trey Ford if we put him in at the beginning of the season or very early on, because sometimes people, depending on the person and personality, the coaching, and who's around you, but adversity is the key to your success. So I don't know if that was the instance for Trey Ford. But regardless, doesn't matter because the season's over. So we have something to look forward to.
Oh no, we're going to play spoilers. Winnipeg isn't getting a home game for the playoffs. Go BC. But Commissioner,
the Bomber fans in the chat are gonna all exit stage left.
Come on. I mean, like I would ever.
Commissioner, do you think that Jones was onto something when he needed to wait 9 games before putting in this future Hall of Fame Canadian starting quarterback?
I think there's definitely things behind the scenes that we weren't privy to. And I think he really wanted to be right in Cornelius. Now, if that was all of Cornelius or Cornelius paired with the coaching, I don't know. I don't have that knowledge, and I don't see that, right? I don't see what's in the locker room. But I'd like to think that there was a method to the madness. Do I think that that was what he was doing, Coach Jones? No. I think he just was a little bit, had an ego as well and just wanted Cornelius to work so bad. But again, that's all speculation and just kind of my thoughts. But in the grand scheme of things, it worked out how it should have, I think. And, I'd rather go trending upward than be consistently horrible as we have been the last couple of years. So
that's fair.
I feel we're trending upward.
I think so.
Super fan, do you think that Jones was onto something?
I think that if we would have had the bye week in week 6 or 7, I think we would have made the change probably at the same time. It's just they wanted time for a new voice to be able to put his stamp on the team versus just recycling the existing playbook. So we couldn't wait. Another factor, I think, that can't be understated is the addition of Brett Boyko at right tackle.
Agreed.
He came in at the beginning of July as well. So right around that same time, by the time he's at his second game, third game, that's when we're making the change. And you could see the offensive line change a bit. Even when we started having to shuffle things around, David Foucault was out for a bit and we had somebody else. So I think that it was just sort of all the right pieces fell into place around at the same time.
Yeah.
Again, it might have been a game or two earlier. I don't think it would have been if the bye week is in week 4. I don't think we make that change. So, I look at it as our team has won 4 of the last 8 versus losing those first 9. So you say, it's trending up, right? So we've had something to cheer for the first time since 2019. Yeah, that is a long time.
I'll never forget this season. When we were about to win at home. Was it against Ottawa?
Yes,
the first
Ottawa.
time that we won. And somebody says to me, "Nobody's leaving. Nobody's leaving."
Right.
Like there was 4 or 5 minutes left, and nobody was leaving. And then everybody was standing up, and we won. And there's people. I was one of them. I was all weepy, and people are hugging each other, and they're cheering, and there's on the big screen, there's people jumping up and down, and in the concourse, everyone's hugging each other, and it's like we won the Grey Cup, but we just won at home, and it was the most delightful, other than the Western Final win in 2015. It was the most amazing Commonwealth experience that I've ever had. This coming together after the first win after 1,000 days, 3 years,
whatever it was, a lot.
I'm looking off
1,400, I think it was. Is that what we figured it out? Yeah. I had the number a while ago. I don't have it right now.
Don't need it now.
No, it's right. We won. It's great. Lovely. Josh, one of the reasons I specifically wanted you on this week was on Wednesday. So, of course, the day after we recorded last week, the team announced that for 2024, they're tarping the upper decks and bringing people closer to the action and trying to fill the lower bowl, which the capacity of our lower bowl is more than some of the other CFL stadiums that are out there. Now it's been it's obviously a hot topic. It is I understand both sides, but I talked to you at the tailgate and you were talking about, because I know you've been an upper deck guy for many years, like all
40 years.
Right. So tell us a little bit about the experience of you going in to find, well, A, how do you feel about it, and B, now your experience about trying to find your new seats.
I'm not surprised it happened. I think it was inevitable. I think that when the first step was to get rid of everybody, when Jamie Elizondo and everyone else went, and then the next step was to see if they could start filling the stands with some of Victor's promotional efforts. And when that didn't start to work, combined with not a winning team, it was every time you'd look at BC Place, you'd think, yeah, you know what? I think we're going that way. It's got to happen. Either that or just pop the top off. Actually, I thought that we were all going to move to Clark and they'd tear down Commonwealth, rebuild something with those awesome roofs that Regina and Winnipeg have, where I hear that the sound bounces off of it.
Yeah.
It is so loud.
Cantilever roof. Yeah.
Oh my God! Like maybe one day. I honestly thought that if we had got the World Cup, that was going to happen. But I think there've been plans in the works, and soon when the cement mixing company moves away, we'll have this lovely place where we can go and eat and shop and live and all that. But before that, we're all going to move down to the lower deck, and I was very excited, because you all got the email, all subscribers got it, that you could go inside and talk to people at the desk. And again, like I was saying earlier on this podcast, I think that, of course, during the pandemic, they didn't have many people. And after that, they got rid of everybody. And the customer service, they were working so hard, but they didn't have enough people. They just didn't have the resources. Right. And I think it was 2 seasons ago that the answering machine, when you call in, says, treat our people well, leave the trash talk on the field. And when I heard that, I thought, oh my God, I cannot believe that they have to leave a message like that. We've got angry fans. We've got people who are upset that we're not winning. And they're upset that they can't get through to anybody. Over the last 2 years, under Derek Yeomans, I believe, under Victor, under the new people whose names I don't know, that level of customer service has gone up. It is exceptional. I email with, so I think we've all got dedicated season ticket holder contacts. Sophia is someone I contact with. Michelle, as I told you, with tailgating, and they will always get back to me. And my rule of thumb with customer service is, don't say no first. Find another way to say, we can't do that, but we're going to do this. And that is exactly what they've been doing. We can't do that, but we're going to try and do this. And so I asked if we could, we were in upper row S, right on the 55 for, like I said, 35 years. For the last 5 seasons, we've been over in T, because there was more of us. And now that we're adding Cohen to that $75 season ticket for kids under 17, which is really awesome, there's going to be more of us. So we said, could we come right down into S? They said, no, singles only, but we can put you in U. It's under the overhang. And so we tried it at Montreal, and it was pretty cool. A little windy. There's some wind pocket, and there's not much sun, but that's okay. So we said, could we? And so I've written, and I said, this is great. Is there anything a little bit lower? Sophia got right back and said, nothing here, but why don't we try here or maybe there? That's the approach it's been. They've got thousands of people that they have to deal with. If we don't get it, and I encourage everyone who's listening, do it now. Don't wait, because it'll start to fill up. And that experience of being, I mean, I'm so used to in the upper deck, stretch out, arms here, legs out there. So it's going to be interesting to be surrounded by people all the time. But that's the experience that Tom Richards was alluding to and that we've talked about here, where we've got all these people in the lower bowl. It's going to be loud. Now let's just get those cantilevers up there to reflect the
Yes, please.
I like this, and you know what? That's one of the things I love when you say that, because it's the thing. One of the things that I preach even to my own staff is like, when you have somebody who's upset, don't tell them what you can't do. Tell them what you can do,
Yes.
and as long as that's the response that you're getting, then you're likely to find something that will work, right?
Yeah.
These are the things I can do. Great. Okay. Let's go for that, right?
Yeah.
And they're exceptional staff when Carter has to deal with Liz for the entire season.
Yeah.
So
He was great for us too. He's the West Side guy.
Yeah.
love you, Liz.
What did you think about it, Mike, before we get to the next question? Just I'm curious on your thoughts on.
I think that no matter what you were going to do, you were going to alienate some people. I think that given the decision that was made, like Josh has said, the staff that have been working have been exceptional. I've heard stories from other people that have said that they are trying to move people in a cohort kind of situation. So you're saying, listen, I go to games, but I am friends with all these people around me. So they're trying to move them as a group to other sections so that you're still got your football family wherever you are, which I think is a great idea, because again, for a lot of people, that is part of the game experience, is having those people around that and you talk to and you have that banter with. I mean, you had it for years with some people in your section.
Yep. Me too. Yeah.
So it's great for that. I know that it's tough for people that are going to have to pay more. But I mean, these were promo prices anyway. We have friends that are in Section C, like you, who were paying, I think it was $180 for an adult and 2 kids.
Right.
That is $18 for 3 people being in there. I don't know how sustainable that is over the long term. So that gets you in there, gets you excited. Maybe now you're like, okay, well, we're willing to spend a little more money to keep having this experience. But I don't think it was ever meant to be a permanent kind of thing where it's always going to be that, $18 for 3 people a game. Yeah. That's kind of hard to grow. Yeah. That being said, they had other options, I'm sure. I've heard people say that maybe they could have cut off the corners and left maybe the top 10 or 15 rows of the upper deck. But when you start adding the upper deck, then you've got to have ushers that are looking at them. You've got to have beer vendors that are going up there. You've got to have all these other things that they're going to be saving money and saving on volunteers by just having a lower bowl. So it's also not for nothing that Josh brought up that BC had been doing this for a while, and Rick Lollisher, who left BC, came over to Edmonton, and now we're doing it here too. So he's had experience with how we can work. And I think that while it's not going to be ideal for everybody, I think all in all, people are going to have a great experience when you have all that energy of other people all together, because it's live football, and how do you top that?
Yeah. What's the thing we keep saying? What's the game we always refer to? 2015, when all the people were there and it was loud and it was everything, right? Like the West Final. So I'm hoping that can be translated into that regular season game.
Yeah,
to some degree.
You get that magic experience like the Labor Day rematch where Dean Faithful comes off and kicks that. It was loud going into that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's awesome.
I was jumping up and down for that one too.
I nearly tackled Andrew.
Yeah, almost. I just barely prepared. It was good. Yeah. All right, Superfan.
Yeah, no worries. So we did touch on the game day experience and some of the things we love. So Josh, if you could do anything to improve the game day experience, what would you do? If you got to put on your manager of game day experience hat, what are you doing for 2024?
There was something you said, Superfan, a long time ago about how far away we are from the field and that track. And I don't know if we'll ever use that track again. And it's same, especially with what foot field can do. So somebody said to me at tailgating, because this stuff always comes up, instead of trying to move the seats closer, let's let's dig deeper. Let's bring the field down and then remove the wall so that we can add more rows at an angle. So suddenly, instead of and he's an engineer. So he said, if we just so instead of that, so we're all thinking is let's add seats like we see in Toronto and Ottawa.
Yeah.
But let's instead of that, let's take the wall right out, add another angle of seat, maybe another 10 feet, and then you would only be 5 feet from the like it is in every other stadium. So it would be interesting to try these kinds of out of the box approaches to making Commonwealth. If we're not going to demolish Commonwealth Stadium and rebuild, which again is a dream that I have, if we all move to Clark, like we did with Exhibition Stadium when we were redoing
Empire Field.
Yeah. That's cool. Empire Field, yeah. So what? Let's if we're not going to tear down Commonwealth and redo it, then move everybody down, dig the field deeper, add more rows, pull the top off, put in those there are ways to do it. It's a solid space. And I'm not talking covering it. That removes it entirely. But there are ways to redo the building to bring it up to a different experience.
That's a great point.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I had not thought of that at all. So
I mean, they originally dug it out anyway, right? Like, it's not like you go up to those the seats where we are. We're on ground level, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Let's just keep digging.
There you go.
Just keep digging.
Is there a reason why there's like the gutters right below the last seating?
Oh,
you know how it kind of like goes into a trench? Is that?
It's actually just to draw, because it is slightly angled, so it draws the rain out. So
does it? Do we remember the turf that happened?
Well, that was a lot of rain. That was a lot.
Still didn't. Okay. It still did not drain though.
Okay. Fair enough. All right.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, so the next inquiry for you, Josh. Now, Trey Ford excluded. You cannot pick. Don't pick Trey Ford. You cannot pick Trey Ford.
I'm gonna pick Trey Ford.
Well played.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Who are, let's say, top 3 guys you'd want to see return to the team next year?
I agree with Superfan. I think Brett Boyko was an incredible acquisition. I ran into him at a beer festival too, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's and I said, "Can I buy you a beer?" And he says, "I'm with my wife and my kid." He says, "But some other time." I said, "Okay," but and we talked about how effective the offensive line has been since he got there, since Jarius, since Trey, that sort of thing. I'm fascinated to find. Andrew, you wrote about it in 3 Down. Oh my God, it just escapes my mind. Who came from the Riders? Of course, I remember
Kyron Moore.
Kyron. So when Kyron has done incredible things this season, and I think that's because he's designed the play. I know he came here to be a punt returner, but to see what he has been able to do, how he gets open, the relationship that we have, and this all seems to be receiver based. Geno Lewis, of course, can pull anything out, but Cobb has been a godsend, and especially with our ex-Hamilton player going down,
Dunbar,
with Steve Dunbar Jr. going down, and it will be interesting to see how many of these receivers we keep, how many we can afford. Is Cobb Canadian?
He is. He's a draft pick.
Yeah. So now he's even a ratio breaker at that point, and he can do those routes. And sometimes you can't tell that Dunbar isn't there, and Dunbar is spectacular. So there's a number of things on the off. There's a number of key players on the offense I think have made a spectacular difference under Jarius Jackson. And I'm mostly fascinated by the O-line and see how that gets built up. On defense, there's the linebacking core can only get better, and it'll be interesting to see how the secondary comes together. And I know we've been talking about the secondary for years, but there's some highlights up there, and I keep every year, Conan, I'd be like, "Oh, Aaron's coming back, and when Aaron comes back, everything will be amazing." but we can't just put all of our eggs in the Aaron Grimes basket as much as we love him. But yet I feel like when we get a leader like him back onto the field, then we're going to have a different style of Superfan taught me that players, you can tell that defensive players aren't doing well when they start putting their hands on their hips.
Yeah.
And we see that a lot. And I'm looking forward to there not being hands on hips of defensive players.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
That's not a Shakira song.
Those hips do lie.
I know there was some fan questions there. We'll get to them in a little bit. I just want to get into our game recap because this is all amazing conversation. But we do want to talk about the game that no, not at all. No, so we have you here for a reason.
Just right.
So the game recap, Elks, of course, losing 35-21. They hot start, up 21-3, but then 7 minutes
from hell.
Awful. Yeah.
I heard that somewhere.
Really? Weird. Okay. They just never recovered after the 7-minute stretch there. Basically the strip sack, I think, was kind of the turning point, and they just couldn't come back from it. Montreal wins 35-21, sending the Alouettes flight deck home happy, but us still being grumpy and only glad that they came for the visit. That's good.
Yeah. And then no one kept standing up and pointing every first down. She was very busy.
In the second half. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Although, the defense, they only allowed 9 points in the second half.
Yep.
So it really was just that the offense couldn't get back going. And it's part of that is because Montreal's front seven is good. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sell Montreal's defense shy, but they just couldn't, for all the success they had in that first 20 minutes. It just couldn't replicate it. So Josh, tell me about what else you saw in this game.
Sorry, Commissioner, but I have to bring up Trey Ford.
No, now you can.
Oh yeah.
It was the post game. It was a post game with Trey, and then of course, Andrew, your 3-down article that reminds me that he truly understands the game because he knew exactly what he did wrong. And when I read about that gives me hope that he looks at it, he says, all right, well, now I know what I need to do differently. And so as frustrating as that consecutive, and you're right, the defense stood them up, but the offense couldn't get anything going, and they reverted back to something safe. I'm not sure why, but there has to be a reason for it, but they know what they need to do differently. And that makes me feel better because in the first 9 games, it was always felt like, well, I guess we're just going to have to go back to the board and see what we can do differently. And now it's, no, I did that wrong, and that I won't ever do wrong again. Okay, good.
That's fair. Commissioner, what do you see?
Oh, Kevin Brown's alley-oop. I saw that.
Yeah, that was quite the play. I was impressed he landed on his feet.
Yeah.
3 guys?
That was amazing.
Yeah, jump.
And somebody caught a still of it in the journal. He's just floating over everybody.
That sounds like KB. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have more bad than good just because there's just, like, it's a tale as old as time. But, I mean, like Josh said, there's things that they saw to improve on, but now we just have to improve on, and we have 1 game to do that, so yay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you just skip me. Like, just talk tailgate.
Okay, we did that.
Best of it.
Let's get tailgatey.
I didn't even see the 3rd quarter. I'm not gonna lie. I came back to the field. I was like, it's the 4th quarter.
That's all right. Neither did they. So
yeah.
It was my fault. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Superfan.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some positives in here. If you look at the stats, and you were just looking at the numbers, Trey Ford 70%, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. 6.4 yard rushing average, over 140 yards. With Kevin Brown, 6.8 yard average.
Yeah.
Trey Ford, 9.4 yard average.
Scary.
Shannon Brooks had even got in there with a run for 9 yards. Like, the numbers make it seem like it should have been a lot closer and a lot better of a result for Edmonton. But like you said, there was just when we're getting a return touchdown and they're getting like 2 return touchdowns, a defensive and a kick return touchdown or a missed field goal return
Special
touchdown.
teams.
Yep.
It was just like on all phases. I mean, you take away the 2 non-offensive touchdowns Montreal had, it's a 21-21 game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes a lot of the difference. When you look at the numbers, how close they are, they capitalized on our mistakes and we didn't capitalize on theirs after that first 20 minutes.
Yeah, very true. And that was and it was tough to watch just because you saw it go so well. And then,
it's a few weeks early for horror shows. I'm just saying.
They're getting in the spirit.
Yeah.
A little scariness there. We already talked about it, or Josh, you mentioned it. Kyran Moore, 2 TDs this week.
Yeah.
I thought he stood out on the Elks offense. Gavin Cobb as well, a couple of big catches. I did think that they did all right in the overall picture. I thought there was 2 things for me when the strip sack happened, and then they were marching down then the turnover happened after the kickoff, and Montreal got a field goal. And then they were marching the ball well, and I thought, oh, it's going to turn. They're recovering, and it was 2nd down and 8, and I believe it was it must have been from the 35, 34, and Trey rolled out to the left, and he had the space. He could have just taken off and probably got 12 yards. But he saw Gavin and decided to take the shot and threw it awkwardly cross-body, and it hit the dirt. And I thought, oh no, that's
the play he talked about. That's the play he said, I should never do that.
I should have just taken it. And the thing is in the last couple of weeks, I have noticed this with him. He is trying, because in the first few weeks he proved he can run. Everybody was like, yep, he can run. There's no doubt about it. And at the beginning of this game, it looked like he was going to balance it. And then after the strip sack happened, it became more, it's like I got to prove to everybody I can pass.
Right.
Instead of just go with what's in front of you, go with your instinct. And if you have to run. Like,
but Tracy Ham, though, he was the same thing. He was a running guy, and he's a running guy, and then he was going to show he could pass. But again, 70% passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I know. It was not a bad outing for him.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of learning now when to use what. And I think
40% of where he's going to be.
There we go.
Going to be scary.
He had
very good.
At one point, we were up in total offensive yards. It was 266 to 90.
Yeah.
It was like it was bonkers, right? So the turnovers killed us.
One more positive though. What was the penalties?
I believe. Oh, there was very few. I know that because we were specifically talking about it in the stands. That there's been no flags, but did we get
1 for 5 yards?
1.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
That's
Caleb. You really
Montreal had 3 for 32. We had 1 for 5.
Wow.
That's unheard of.
Montreal had 3 for 32 because one of theirs was 25 yards.
Right.
Yeah. That's a fun thing.
Right.
Yeah. No, don't spit on people. It's not.
Well, I watched that replay. I don't know where he spit. Was it off camera? Because I couldn't see.
As far as I could tell, yes. So
that was one magic loogie.
Back into the left.
That's right.
All of a sudden, it's a Seinfeld episode.
He didn't argue with it.
All right. Well, the last thing that I'm going to touch on is Deontez Alexander coming in to do the returning on the kicks. 98 yards on 4 returns. He did have the fumble, yes, but overall, had a couple of big returns, runs like a gazelle because he has very long legs as compared to CJ Sims, who is tiny and rapid legs. But I was very impressed with what he did for first game anyway. So
why do you think it's happened that they've because Sims was a healthy scratch, wasn't he?
Yeah, they wanted to see what they had.
Okay.
These are all evaluation games now. So get whoever you can in and see what they look like.
Okay.
That's
once we were eliminated officially.
Yeah.
This last game and the next game are just, it's an audition for next year.
Right.
Yep. Who wants to be here next year? Correct. Now there was some releases on that.
Speaking of,
that's of who will be here and maybe not. Defensive lineman Emeke Egbule, which I
was a bit surprised.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised. I thought he was okay. Linebacker Mark McLaurin, who played a whole bunch for us this year.
Especially the beginning, I thought was very good.
Yes. Defensive back Josh Nurse, offensive lineman BJ Wilson, quarterback Dresser Wynn, all exiting stage left. Correct. Yes. That is
they practice roster guys. I would like to have seen them, but I mean, I didn't get to practice, so I never got a chance to see them.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, it's I know at the beginning of the year, I'm like, oh, I don't know about like this 4 games over 4 nights kind of idea, but I kind of actually did prefer it to the double headers. But the other part is that means that the Elks were more likely to be practicing on a Sunday and I could go to practice. And as soon as they went to playing Fridays and Saturdays, it's all when I'm at work. So I'm gonna have to tell work next year I need to take like every Wednesday morning off. Very important. Yeah.
Did you read about the league strategy with that, about doing Thursday night football and Sunday football until the NFL started?
Right. And I loved it.
Starting out, and apparently
the numbers seem to work.
The numbers are working. The TSN reports huge numbers for Thursday night football. I was like, really? That's fantastic.
And Sunday. The Sunday ones were getting big viewership too. So although I didn't always love the 5 o'clock start on a Sunday when like I had to work the next day. I didn't always love that. Yeah. But
some of these earlier starts on a Thursday when it's like I've got to get home. We're tailgating. Like if
I know we got to start tailgating at 2:30 p.m. on a Thursday night afternoon.
And work on the Friday.
Yeah. I got vacation hours.
That's right.
I got to ask though quickly. Terry Jones said once in the Journal that he never believed that Sunday football was even a distraction NFL wise. Like people would, even though there was NFL, people would still watch the CFL. Do you believe that?
No, I think that there are. I know a lot of people, myself included, that like both leagues. I mean, I'm obviously a CFL first person, but I still on Sundays I will watch NFL football because I love football.
Right.
And that's what people that tell me that they love football, but then poo-poo on the CFL. I'm like, then you don't really love football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the NFL. Exactly. You're not watching college well. I've been watching on video. I've been watching the Wildcats and the Huskies and the Golden Bears, who are having a killer season, by the way.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Brent Cordy's coaching there too.
Yes, absolutely. And it's just one of those things that if you love football, and there are a lot of people that love football, especially since it's televised, why make them have to choose?
Yeah. It's interesting that they went to the playoffs on Saturdays. I'm curious to see if the numbers change, because I never thought that the playoffs in the CFL that the NFL interfered with playoffs. They were so big.
Well, tough to say. I think the idea of moving them to a Saturday was twofold.
And they have done it before.
One is sure you get to pick one or the other, I guess, for you're picking CFL. But the other part I think they did that for is people who want to travel to the game. Yeah. They can travel and then travel back on the Sunday instead of trying to travel. As an example, hopefully Calgary doesn't make the playoffs, but if it was Edmonton and Calgary in the playoffs, it would be great to go down on the Saturday and come back on the Sunday and then be ready for work on the Monday and not have to do it all in one day.
Right.
And even if you did, you can at least recover the next day.
Yeah.
Right. Or let's say Edmonton is playing in Regina. Well, if it's on a Saturday, I could probably pack up on a Friday, go out, watch the game on the Saturday and drive back on the Sunday. And so I think the idea is you can bring more people to the playoff game.
That's outstanding. Let's hope that Steeltown fills up BMO Field then when Hamilton plays Toronto at home.
Oh, I'm
sure they will. Yeah.
Did
I just make a prediction? Oh,
I was just gonna say Montreal fans are just like, well,
Pardon?
I'm done with this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, so much for that guy. Yeah.
Hey, 2 special teams touchdowns. Don't say they're in it. We'll see.
Now, Kayla, we have a very special Hoard and Tell this week that you are going to do for us.
Yes.
Because you're wearing it.
Stand tall.
Yes. So
let me just back up.
Cliff
back and forth.
Yeah, Cliff was very kind and got us all t-shirts, and this was amazing. So this is retiring the Wieners for Kayla joke, but it is great that we have a shirt with you with the hot dogs. Now, if you could please show our favorite poem that has graced our chats. You're gonna have to sit up a little more. Yeah,
more.
There you go. Yeah, up a bit more. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. And so this is, of course, Cliff's poem that he wrote. Roses are red. Now is the present. Elks win at home. Fuck you, I'm pleasant. Okay, we're great.
No.
The visual podcast is really that visual,
right? Cliff, thank you again. It was super
a lovely gift. We
amazing.
Love ours.
Yep, mine is upstairs because I just had my God Save the Dean for today, but that was it was amazing. We were all laughing, we were all enjoying it, and
how you presented it was amazing too.
Yes,
just like, I know it's retired now, however, this is a retirement party.
That's right. And then we had whiskey, and it was wonderful. So that definitely made me laugh, made tailgate even more fun.
Yes.
Let's get to some game setup for this week, because hey, we got one more to talk about, right? There's going to be some positives in there. Final game of the 2023 season comes against the Bombers Saturday night at 5 p.m. Winnipeg is looking to lock up first. Of course, that will all depend on how the BC game goes on Friday, but BC is playing Calgary, and they're likely going to, right? I think. Yeah, BC's playing Calgary.
Odds are pretty good. Yeah. Oh, then the game.
So then the odds are good that BC's going to win, and that would mean that Winnipeg has to win this game. So
there's that.
So it could be a tough game. Now, if BC loses, then Winnipeg has nothing to play for, and we'll see what happens then. They'll probably, have guys that'll play half and then take a break or something like that. So we'll see how this all plays out. But there are things for us to watch. Josh, what are you watching in this game? What do you want to see from our Elks?
I want to see some moving the ball around to some of the different players that we've talked about here. Some more of that. That didn't work last week, so I'm going to try it this week. That lack of fear of I'm going to hold back, I'm going to be safe in my play calling, says Jarius Jackson, because I don't know what to. So we want to win this game at home or whatever. That's all. It's all off the table. Our job is to prevent Winnipeg from earning a number one home playoff spot. And so that, let's go balls to the wall. Let's go all out. Let's take it. And let's not hold back. Try everything. Throw everything at the kitchen sink, at the whiteboard. See if it sticks, slides down. The visual podcast now. Slide. There we
go. I like this, Commissioner.
Yeah, I mean, Josh said it. I just want chaos. I want to go in there and create so much chaos and blood. Like, do it. Be creative. Balls to the walls. Just, I don't know how you can, but if you can, stop Brady Oliveira. Like, I think that's an essential part of actually winning this game. But yeah, just throw it. Who cares? Get creative. Get ridiculous. Play with your gut.
Let's see some more of those 3rd and short where Taylor goes to dive and then runs it or passes it.
Throws it to AC.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to have an audition, put pressure on these guys to actually audition and play like their career depends on it. Shoot them some wild stuff.
I like it. I like it. Super fan.
I want to see a wishbone.
Yeah.
I want to see a Statue of Liberty play, a flea
Statue of
flicker.
Liberty.
Flea flicker!
I want a drop kick. I want to see. I want to see Chris Agar with short hair.
Oh.
I'm just saying. No, let's. You know what? It's an audition. Let's try some things and maybe find out. Wow, this really seems to work well with our style of play for 2024 because we tried it in 2023. We've got nothing to lose, really. Right. We're not expected to win the game. I mean, other than Chris O'Leary, everyone else is picking Winnipeg to win this game. And I think,
Chris, by the way,
yeah, well, absolutely. Chris picked the Elks more than any other team, and certainly more than any other person, which was great. But if we have nothing to lose, then we have no pressure on us. Just try some stuff. Like, don't get any serious injuries that are going to take, the offseason to heal, but do some things. Just see what kind of combinations maybe are going to work. I'd like to see some of the guys that are on the PR maybe get some opportunities to play as well, because they've been on the PR for a large portion of this year. Are they worth bringing back? Because maybe they can make the 45, 46, that kind of thing. It's
maybe there's a Darrell Walker in there somewhere.
Absolutely. Or a Brandon Zylstra, or how many guys do we have that were on the PR that turned out to be a great player?
Brian Mitchell.
Yeah, exactly. Now sing the Batman theme.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so the Indiana Jones theme just came to mind, so now that's in my head.
Similar.
Da, 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 da.
Exactly.
Nice.
Give your nanas and Batman. So yeah, we've got nothing to lose. So just leave it out all on the field there, and you can say you've done everything you possibly could, and have fun. You've got a quarterback that loves to play, and it shows, and it just is infectious. So get out there, have fun, do your best, and remember, you're still playing for all those fans watching on TV and in the stadium.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I will say I'm going to be a little more boring, but what I want to watch is, can you play 60 minutes? 60 minutes of football.
In a row.
Not correct. Yeah.
Not over 3 games.
No, in a row is important.
Okay, good.
60 minutes in one game. Yes.
Asking a lot.
I'll take 55. I'm not picky, but I want it. I'd like to say 60. Okay, 58. Fine. Yeah, it is both of the Bombers. That's fair.
Yeah.
I would like to see, Josh, you were talking about the O-line. I would like to see them step up against a very good Bomber front seven.
Very good.
And in that first game with Trey, we were up big. and Kevin Brown was running and Trey Ford was running, and they didn't know kind of what was. Now they are going to know what's coming. Obviously, they've seen a lot of Trey, but like you said, Mike, let's get creative and let's do it again, and then hang on to it.
Let's get a single wing offense. Let's get.
Love it. Yeah,
there we are.
Single wing.
Come on now.
What's going on here? This
old school. Really.
Old school. Really
I thought I knew all these plays, but what's a wishbone?
Wishbone is where you have like a fullback and 2 running backs.
Oh,
and so you don't know which one is getting the ball and going to run it,
and it's all misdirection.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jackie Parker, Don Getty, Norman.
No,
Paul.
we were doing that in the 70s. Come on.
So then you're thinking Kevin Brown, Tanner Green, and Shannon Brooks.
Absolutely.
Cool. And who is going to run the ball?
4 options, not to mention guys like Swerve and
like
Gavin Cobb.
Oh man,
it's all about misdirection and not knowing.
Yeah. Who's going to take it? Yeah.
Well, since Jarius is listening to this, then
of course he is.
Yeah, of course he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's got his email?
Every week he listens. Let's get to our pick'ems for this week. There's only 3 games, so we've got 2 games to actually pick, and then we will have a prop bet. So put your prop bets into the chat, and we will get to those very shortly. Josh, you will get to pick the prop bet as you are the guest.
Prop bet.
Final prop bet of the year. That's correct. Well, maybe next week we'll do like an off-season prop bet. Just, it'll be fun.
That's
but
true.
You'll get to pick it for tonight, Josh, or you can either pick one that is suggested to us, or you can pick one of your own, and I'll set the line and we'll go from there.
I can't see it. Where is it?
No, I'll tell you when it comes.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Visual
Watch the
podcast.
show, or
Let's
do
go
you
on.
just like,
And-
wow, I like, yeah, everything's running down that whiteboard right now. Let me tell you.
Well, now.
Our first, that's also a title of the podcast.
Yes.
Calgary versus BC, and this one is taking place in British Columbia in the wonderful Dome in Vancouver. Who you got, Josh?
BC.
Wow, not even fooling around, just BC.
No.
I like this.
BC is on fire. I could see it. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them in Hamilton against Hamilton.
Now, here's the next thing. We don't know the health status of Vernon Adams yet. I know he left the Calgary game with a knee injury, slight knee injury. So we're not sure if I'm assuming he's going to be playing this game, but we don't know.
Yeah, but Matthew Schultz, man, did he step up? Hey,
wait, but he plays for Hamilton.
or was I with
Evans?
Sorry,
We're talking BC.
Dane Evans. Dane
Yeah,
Evans.
Dane Evans.
I
There
see
you go.
Dane Evans that set
The
up.
other Matthew Schultz.
Wrong
He did.
kitty. Wrong kitty team.
Dane Evans came in and he kept doing what he was supposed to do.
And then they lost to Calgary. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. They won. Commissioner, I know you're picking, but I'm still going to ask.
Precisely. But I do have a question. So, if Saskatchewan wins, regardless, they're in, right?
Correct.
But if Calgary does the thing, don't say it. If they do a thing and Saskatchewan loses, then that team gets in, right?
Calgary has a shot. Calgary has to win out, and Saskatchewan has to lose.
Oh, right. There's still another week. Right. We're on a bye the last week. So dumb. Right. Okay.
Although, if Calgary does do the thing, it will be a tie.
Right.
I believe they have the tiebreak.
They do. Yes.
So they would currently be in. And then it doesn't matter. Then at that point, again, Calgary holds the destiny in their hands.
Correct.
Okay. I'll BC.
All of that just to say exactly what we knew you were going to say. Okay,
I
perfect.
just need to know the stats.
It's very good. Superfan?
I was so close in my upset prediction last week with Hamilton and BC.
Yeah.
At least they figured out, how many seconds were left in the clock at the end of the game. But in this case, home team.
Home team. Oh, I am also going home team because I'm hoping that BC will win and that we will beat Winnipeg. That's what I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm.
And the final week will be so much more fun.
It will be exciting.
I'm excited for this. Next game, Toronto at Saskatchewan in the rectangle. Saskatchewan season on the line after a, a 5-game losing streak or 6-game losing streak they have now?
6-game losing streak.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
potential, if they lose, to have 7 games to end the season. Losses.
All right, Commissioner, you get to pick first.
Okay. Would Toronto actually do the smart thing and start sitting some players, not starting?
They're rotating.
I'm guessing they will because it's an away game as well.
They're not even
Right?
going to fly them out.
If it was at
They're
home,
both away games. The last 2 games for Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I thought next week's was home game. I guess
No, they are done with the home
They're
games.
done with home games. So they may play Chad Kelly this week and rest him. No,
Because then he's resting 2 weeks in a row.
I
Then
was gonna say I think they play Chad Kelly this week and then rest Chad Kelly this week, play him next week, then he has the bye week, and then he's ready to go. I think. Yeah.
When you would think that would be the smart thing to do, at least. Whatever. I think I'm gonna go a little chaotic and say Saskatchewan. Because I believe last time I did the Saskatchewan pick, I was right.
Maybe.
I was the only one who picked them, and they wildly won. I mean, they're a garbage team, but so were we. So
Fair.
I'm gonna bring on the chaos. I'll pick Saskatchewan.
All right.
Stupidly.
Super fan.
Saskatchewan careens into the bye week with a 7-game losing streak. Toronto takes this one.
Wow.
Even with some of the backups in, Toronto is just a superior team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I
And
think Toronto.
the last time we see Craig Dickinson as a head coach in green.
Right.
You know, can I just mention something?
Nope. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I was going to anyway. Like,
I know.
It's more fun when it's not permitted.
Turn look.
Sorry, Josh. Anyway, I can't stand the way he just does not own up to like anything. Like, you have a garbage team, just say it. No, you can't just sit there and like give these interviews of how like, oh, this team is good, like we have good players, blah blah blah. I'm like, can you just admit defeat, bro? Like just say you're garbage. Like, it's okay. It's not demeaning, it's the truth. Like,
You're basic.
yeah.
That would be. I would love it if you would say that.
Yep. I don't know. I just saw that on Twitter yesterday or whatever. So who put that? Was it Third Down and a few other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. I don't
And,
have
like,
anything that we need to correct. Did you
I
watch
know.
the game, or?
I know, like, I get it. You want to remain positive, but there's positivity and there's also stupidity. And I think you're the latter.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, that just pissed me off, because like we're coming from a terrible couple of seasons, but at least we can say like, hey, like, we're not doing great. This is what we need to fix. Like, just say something. Like, anyway, sorry, Josh.
No, it's all good.
Don't apologize. No. I wasn't.
Oh, by the way, just in case you didn't get my pick is Go Argos. There you go.
Oh no, that was clear.
Argos.
Oh god, after BMO, that's so annoying now.
I'm just doing the Chad Kelly. Yeah, Go Argos. Josh Semchak.
Yeah, you know, I think that with Dickinson and his entire staff on the line, and maybe even Trevor Harris, I think that they've got a lot to play for, and they will do everything they can to win at home against an Argos team that will be leaving lots of people back in Toronto.
Ooh, interesting.
Are you picking them?
You're picking the Riders. Okay.
Virtual high five.
Now, my question though is, are you picking them just because you want Calgary out of the playoffs, or are you thinking because they might actually win?
Yes.
Great. Okay.
I think
exactly.
If Calgary and Saskatchewan both win, can Calgary still get in if they win in the final week?
If they win in the final week, yes.
Versus Winnipeg?
No. Are they only 2 points up, or are they 4 points up?
It's currently the standings are 5 and 11
points.
versus 6 and 11.
Right. Okay.
So if Calgary wins, they'll be tied. If Saskatchewan wins, they're ahead. And then Calgary wins the final week, then they're also tied again, and this goes to
Calgary plays BC or Winnipeg in the last week, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Winnipeg ends the season in the Alberta Bowl.
Who wins the tiebreaker between the Riders and the Stamps?
I thought it was the Stamps.
Yeah, the Stamps won 2 of the 3 games.
Because it was said that they hold their destiny in their own hands. So regardless of what Saskatchewan did, if they won out, they make the playoffs.
Oh my
Interesting.
If they do lose, if Calgary does not make the playoffs, it'll be the first time in CFL history that there has been no Alberta team in the playoffs.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
That is a scary stat.
That is for sure.
Aren't we all about making history? Come on now. You love history.
I do love history. I just rather be on the positive side of history.
Well,
we're already out.
Can't have it all.
Don't get me wrong. I'm super happy when, as my friend, our friend Brian used to always call them, the godless ones, didn't make the playoffs. But you know, I'm much happier when we do.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I'm also I'm hey, if we're not in it, Calgary's not in it, that's all right. Make history, dang it.
Well,
all right,
Cliffy's trying.
Let's get to our prop bet. So Cliffy does have a prop bet for us that is because he says since Kaya Kayla wants
I'm an
chaos.
elk.
Kayla wants chaos is hard to say. If you're reading chaos already, we should just call you Commissioner Chaos. That'd be
There we go.
amazing.
I like it.
I love it. That's a t-shirt next year.
Okay, wow.
Kayla wants chaos. He said a prop bet of Geno Lewis passing yards. Not receiving yards, but
No,
passing
no.
yards. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to have non-Trey Ford passing yards.
No, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
Another prop bet here that Ken gave us was total turnovers, both teams together.
Interesting.
We did total sacks last week, and I set the line at 9.5. I think it ended at 7. So was under.
It was under.
Yep. And we can pick whatever else that we want to have. Josh.
All right. Well, I'm inspired by our conversation of penalties and what Superfan said. So let's prop bet the penalties, the number of penalties. Maybe we go 0 penalties.
Okay, so
just 1 per 5.
We're gonna have chaos and be clean.
And be interesting. Okay. So you're saying the number of penalties, not the yards for penalties, but the number of penalties.
Let's go with number.
Okay, number.
Accepted penalties. Make it easier.
Accepted penalties. That's a smart play. All right. Well, we had 1 last week.
Are we talking combined or just Edmonton?
Oh, Josh.
Oh. Just Edmonton.
Okay.
Just Edmonton.
K-loss. Oh,
I saw that K-loss. I love it. Oh, Cliffy knocking it out of the park again. K-loss. I love it. Let's go
great radio
with
station.
It should be.
You know it is.
Oh, the K-loss is a really?
KLOS. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Could be her Klingon name.
I was going with the ancient Klingon warrior, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right, let's set the line at 2.5.
2.5 penalties
2.5?
for Edmonton.
Oh, Lord.
This is our last game, right?
Yes, it is.
4.5. Okay,
there we go.
There we
That's
go.
better.
There we go. So 4.5 penalties for the Edmonton Elks that are accepted penalties. Josh, do you pick over or under?
Under.
Ooh, look at you.
No, I'm inspired. I'm inspired by this. I didn't realize we had such few penalties because I've given up looking at that stat, but I'm going to keep staring at it now.
That's fair. Commissioner?
Over.
Okay. Didn't even think.
I don't have that much faith.
Super fan.
There's going to be some coincidental penalties, I think. There's going to be some players that are a little hot at the end of this. You're going to see, some offsetting minor and major penalties. So I'm going to go over.
All right. I'm going to go just under. I'm going to say 4.
There we are.
Virtual high five.
There. Bang. Absolutely. Josh, did you have anything else on your list that we didn't cover?
Because everyone who only follows the podcast when I'm on it will remember that the last time I was on as a guest, as I returned, I brought my top 10.
Yes.
But and so I thought to myself, I wasn't inspired until I ran into Kayla at the
very
tailgate.
inspiring.
It was very inspiring.
Yeah.
And she said, you're going to Hamilton, aren't you? And I said, no, one day when I grow up, I'm going to go to all of the Grey Cups.
I remember.
I'm going to go to all the Grey Cups. I'm just going to go to them all. And then I remember driving home that I have a bucket list of stuff that's related on this. So I have, for everybody's enjoyment, the top 5 of Josh's bucket list that we'll hear. It will go from 5 to 1 on the podcast. So the number 5 on my bucket list is to be knighted by the king. Okay. So this is in God Save the Dean. This is and I've because my mom was born in England. I'm somewhere like 64 millionth in line to the throne. So it's not
nice.
Impossible.
Right?
They have to die in the right order, but it'll happen.
In the right order.
We can make.
We got to get to work. Yeah, we got to get to work.
The rule of ascension was changed about 10 years ago. I mean, I've got a bit of a chance.
We'll get
so
chaos on it.
number 4 on my bucket list is to be in a Star Wars movie cameo. Now,
That'd be amazing.
I like
and
this.
I don't have to be a pilot on an X-wing. I can be a creature like Simon Pegg did with a mask on.
Perfect.
Or like the two princes did as stormtroopers. We all know they were there, even though they can't say so. So then I have number 3 on my bucket list is to, like I said to Commissioner in the tailgate, watch the Grey Cup in each city all the time. When I grow up,
Amazing.
I just follow the Grey Cup around. Wouldn't that be amazing? Number 2 is to watch Elks football in every stadium that they play it an away game. Now, I've only ever done it once in Vancouver, and I was there in 1998 to watch Edmonton play BC in the Dome. And I've never felt anything so claustrophobic and stifling. This was in the old one, the bubble one. Yeah. And it's apparently much nicer now.
High pressure.
It's
high pressure. You could feel it. Yeah.
On a side note, our friend Tree did in one season go to every game home and away.
Oh, see, that is so
and
cool.
that's mine. That's mine. I want to do that one year. I want to go to all 18 games in a season and see them play live every game of the season. I 100% want to do that.
Man, when we don't have to drive kids around or do dishes or cook.
So what you're basically saying is this is never going to happen for me. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Darn it. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's only one thing on my bucket list that I have accomplished, and it's number 1. And it is, like I've said before, when you become a co-host of a podcast of the Turf District podcast, you have that title for life.
It's true.
Check.
An excellent list. And
it's going on my tombstone.
Should be the top thing. Yeah. Yep. Host of the Turf District podcast, right?
Even above being knighted.
Even above being knighted.
Or being king.
It's true. Or king. It's true.
Superfan's gonna get knighted for his Elks collection. All this.
There we go.
That's fair.
I am descended from royalty myself, so I guess I am in the line.
Yeah, you're in there. I can't remember. I think it was Chris said that we just need a King Ralph situation, and away we go. We're all set.
It could happen.
Away we go.
Always a possibility. Kayla, you all right over there?
Now I have a stupid fly. Like if it's not a raven, if it's not a dog, there's a fly buzzing around my head.
What is going? I just see
it's so annoying.
Raven. This is very Edgar Allan Poe-ish going on here.
Yeah, we did.
It's very dark and deep in my house. Hence the black.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, thank you so much for coming to chat with us.
Goodness.
Are you going to stick around for overtime?
I'd love to stick around. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
anytime, Dana Carvey. Sorry.
Tell everybody where they can find you online so they can interact with you and talk more Elks.
Anytime. Joshua.Semchuk on Instagram, same as on Facebook.
Beautiful. Commissioner, where does everybody find you?
On the Twits at Duchess Lombardi.
Beautiful. Superfan.
You can find me and all my socials on the Linktree, which is LINKTREE, or sorry, there's a .EE, /56 Parkies, or the history at /EDMHISTOREE.
Oh, look at you. That has all of your linkages.
It's got the blue sky, it's got the threads, it's got the Mastodon.
It's all. You're on Mastodon?
Yeah,
You go.
What is Mastodon?
Yeah, Mastodon. Yeah, that'll last.
Yeah, but I'm there.
You're there. You're everywhere. Superfan is everywhere.
As long as it's there, I'm there.
Correct.
Baby.
You can find me at Freakalicious and the show at the Turf District on all of your different socials, your Twitter, your Facebook, your Instagram, your YouTube, and also your Blue Sky and your Threads.
Is it changed?
No, because I still can't figure out. I know Tim said you're allowed to change it, but it's probably on the web. It's not on
Paging
the app.
Tim Capper.
So I will talk to Tim and we will get this sorted out. But anyway, it'll all happen.
Oh, MySpace. I gotta get that back.
Oh, that's right.
MySpace.
Perfect.
Yay.
And of course, check out all my articles on 3 Down Nation. Josh, thank you for reading them and quoting them while you're on the show. You get extra points for that. Make sure you are following our friends at Pay It Forward with Football, who of course have their fundraising event coming up on October the 27th at MKT Beer Market, and it sounds like it's going to be an amazing evening. I am unfortunately out of town, but they have some amazing people coming for that. So do that and spread kindness, as we all should. If you're on YouTube, stick around. We are going to get into some overtime and do some chats and answer some questions that are already in the chat. If you have other questions, make sure you throw them in there and we will make sure that we get to them. Otherwise, we will be back next week. It'll be our season wrap-up show with Dave Campbell and Morley Scott as we go over the full season and what was good, bad, and what to look forward to in the off season. We love having those guys here with us. So join us next week, Tuesday night at 8:30. Otherwise, for Josh and Commissioner Kayla and Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you next week.
anywhere. It's overtime.
Oh, guess I should turn that off. There we go. I hope you enjoyed our new edition of the picture at the end of the show. Thank you, Tyler, which made me howl. And so hence that will be part of the show.
Turf
at the
District
end.
GPT.
That's right. Yep. That's what I was just thinking. It's perfect.
There we are.
Well, back to overtime. It is time to catch up on all of the wonderful chats that people had for us and all the questions that people had for us. And, I know there was some there for you there, Josh, so I want to make sure we get to those.
Yep.
So, Mike, are you scrolled back up to the top?
I have scrolled way back in antiquity.
Go way up.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you need a little seat by the fireplace?
Oh,
do we ever?
Monocle.
We need Rusty to come in and see and tell us all the.
Is that Jerome?
I have. Yeah. Oh, Jerome. That's right. Yeah, Rusty's the chicken, right? Yeah.
Rooster in the bag.
Giraffe.
Let me
Rusty
let
the
me ask
rooster, Jerome
Josh
the
a
giraffe.
question. Yeah. Okay.
Joshua Giraffe, Jerome Giraffe.
Huh?
Oh.
Just
Okay.
hold up little sign. I see Joshua
I
and
see,
Kayla.
I see Kalos and
I'm so lost.
Yes.
these are all shows before your time.
Yeah.
These are when TV just had 3 channels.
Right. And you had
I
to
have 3 channels.
and you had
See?
to get up and
That's 'cause I'm
actually
poor.
turn the channel. And not,
Oh, yeah.
there was no remote. Like
Yeah,
you had to
peasant
go up
vision.
and, like dunk, dunk.
The antennas. Yeah, our TV was when my mom got it when she was 16, and we still used it when I was growing up.
Wow.
Reliability
Ooh,
Color.
and poor.
wow, that's amazing.
Oh.
That's cool.
I know.
All right.
Anyway.
What do we got there, super fan?
All right, let's scroll way back. Lots of chatter from our good friends, Tim, Cliffy, and Manon, who, again, it was absolutely fantastic for me to meet for the first time, all 3 of them. Lots of hugs, lots of great stories, and it was a great time. And, of course, I got to sit with all 3 of them as well during the game. So started out like a really fun time, and then it didn't get nearly as exciting once we got finishing that second quarter and into the second half. So
yeah, brutal. Yeah,
but we still had fun. So
but with the 3 of them, we did have a great laugh, and they
absolutely
were able to come over to the Turf District on Friday night,
Nice.
and we sat down in the room and had a beer and chatted and had the Calgary Stamps Calgary and Rough Rider game on in the background, and it was hilarious because I had the volume just up enough that you could tell it was Nielsen, and so then we always knew when something was happening because it was like, what is happening?
Nice.
Let's all look at my phone. So yeah, it was a nice hangout and visit, and then of course Saturday the tailgate was fantastic with all of them, and I did see at one point Tim saying it was basically his first tailgate, and
well, not his first, but he said he's never really been a tailgate guy, but it was something special on Saturday.
Yeah, and it was fun.
Yeah, and it was good food. Coach Vic says someone, not mentioning names, Riley, had Dijon mustard sandwiches with a hint of meat and bread for flavor.
Yeah,
apparently Riley loves the Dijon. So.
All right, well, that's that he can have it. It's all here for him, so that's great.
Then Josh was talking about his daughter was on the field at halftime. So Cliffy wants to know, is it any truth to the rumor that at least half of those young halftime cheerleaders were actually John Chick's kids?
Oh my.
And then Tim Capper says they were chicks.
Oh my.
Oh dear.
Oh dear is right, but it's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed that as it went by, but
that was awesome. Cliffy actually said that live during, like, they were starting to line up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Are they all John Chick's children?
Oh,
outstanding.
Very well done. Yeah.
Anything's possible.
That actually has a higher chance than you would all think. I think. Yeah, that's
No, move on.
That's good for a year. Tim also got very excited during the game when there was that missed field goal return touchdown, because he forgot that it was not specifically anyone getting a return touchdown. It had to be in Edmonton player getting return touchdown for Chris to
Oh,
finally shear his locks.
he
Oh,
thought that Chris
no.
was gonna bick his dome because we gave up a no.
No, it would have been short a long time ago at that point. So Tim does say, Chris, your hair got lucky.
No. His hair needs to go this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's not that we don't love you with your hair. It's just,
Right.
we want to see a return.
It's time.
It's been 8 years. Come on now.
I want a picture with Chris with both of us with no hair.
Right.
Or I could let mine go for like a week and then I would have more than him and it'd be amazing. I'd be like, look at how much I have.
And you could call him Curly the whole game.
That's right. I love it.
Be fantastic.
Chris just responded on F that, Tim. Like, that's great. Yeah, that's perfect.
Exactly.
That. That's good. Response.
Chris, speaking of, also says, I know this is a woulda coulda, but I would love to have seen Cornelius under Jarius Jackson. Not that I don't love Ford's play.
Be interesting. I thought the same.
But Cornelius is under Jackson with the trick plays on 3rd and short.
Yes.
Right. Yep.
So
I just don't
think
know. Yeah.
Jarius knows how to use Taylor for his strengths. Plus, all of his 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
He's very tall.
The Matt O'Donnell
when
of
his
quarterbacks.
arms are above his head.
Matt O'Donnell of quarterbacks.
Like,
Hey, Matt was at the tailgate. I got to chat
He's
with
hard
him
to
for-
Yes, he
miss.
was.
Yeah.
But he has lost weight. Like he is.
Yeah, he's
Looking
trained
splendid.
down. He's not
Yep.
as big as he was. Like it was what's his name had to point him out to me because I was introducing Cohen to him. Oh my god, I'm terrible with names tonight. Normally I know everybody's name.
Buddy, what's his face?
Buddy,
Buddy,
what's his name and the other fellers?
Yes. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. The,
Somewhere in Ferry is grateful he's lost all that weight. So I'm just,
oh, wow. That was a great one. He's
yeah.
become basketball Maddie and not football Maddie.
Right.
Yeah. He's as a tall, skinny dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris also said, I'm not sure which I missed more, seeing Cliff Menon and Tim or that tailgate smoked meat. That was again.
It was unbelievable. Did you get one, Josh? Did you get a smoked meat sandwich?
no, by the time I got there, Riley and Cohen had eaten everything.
Okay.
Yes, both boys
Andrew's
did
son and
have.
my son because they just followed it. They just went around to the Cordies and the Dolls and the Chargers where they used
And
to
the
both play. And
97.
then to the
Yep.
podcast, and then to mine, and then back again all around.
Probably the K97, yeah, the 97
Yeah.
one.
It's
Although Riley did have 3, just to be clear.
yeah. Well, but obviously one of them was not very meat filled, but still.
Oh, there's plenty of meat. There's just a lot more Dijon.
Oh, okay. Well, it's you know what? I was proud
Yes,
of him. I mean,
Dijon on bread,
it's a great
and then Dijon on the meat, and then Dijon on the other bread, and then
then put it together.
then dip it in
think-
Dijon.
I think the it's one of the greatest places to take a 15, 16-year-old, right, Josh? Because
Oh yeah.
they'll be full before
Well,
It's ridiculous.
well,
Will they?
almost. Yeah.
you take him to Paul Reckner's if you want him to be full.
I was just gonna say, funny note. That's because Riley said, "Oh, I ate. I went to all those spots and all that," and then we were just having a quick supper on the way home. So I just picked up McDonald's and we came home and Riley ate, and then he was kind of and Nathan says, "Oh, Riley, are you full?" And Riley says, "No, only at Paul's." I'm like, oh,
That's fair.
Paul will be happy about that. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Our good friend Rory from GP says,
Rory.
at Josh, hello. I love the future Hall of Fame aspirations for Trey. I share the vision. Can you elaborate? What particular parts of his game or overall skills do you see taking him to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I think that there was Andrew was talking about Trey Ford running, and I don't believe he runs. I believe that he glides. I mean, it's real. Have you? I mean, we've all seen it. Like he kind of floats over the grass, over the turf, and he makes it look. It's almost like Mike Pringle in his way, even pinball, where he just kind of you don't know where his next step is going to be, and he kind of twists and turns. His athleticism is going to decrease as he gets older, and we all know that. But I think like the Tracy Hams, the Damon Allens, the Brett Favres of the world, the Dan Marinos, even the Calvillos, they become really smart football players. Michael Riley, same thing. Remember how he used to throw his body into everything?
Yep.
And as he got older, he realized, oh, you know what? I want to play longer. I should probably stop doing that. And he will be that player that, only because this is what I hear from him in post game. He knows what to do to have this longevity, he's going to become this. And I think, Superfan, you were alluding to it as well. He's going to be able to read defenses and understand. He's going to understand the nuances. He's going to be able to look around and call the audible and throw everybody off. So we don't know if he's going to run. We don't know if he's going to throw, because he's going to be that extra 60%. And as a Canadian quarterback who didn't go to an American college school, let me add, who is a Canadian college graduate and number one college player of the year, and a CFLer. I mean, Hall of Fame all over it.
I actually have a really cute story. If I can, just talking about like the Canadian quarterback and the Canadian university. So when I was in Toronto, they have this area where you can kind of go see the players of the opposition team. Mm-hmm. So we were lined up, and there was a Toronto kid all decked out in Argos stuff. And he's like, "Hey, has Trey Ford come by yet?" I was like, "No." He's like, I went to Waterloo too. I really want to see him and meet him. It was so sweet.
Awesome.
So he's like, yeah. So he was like waiting for Trey Ford, decked out in Argos stuff, but he was just so excited to see a Canadian kid for a Canadian game from a Canadian university. So yeah, it was really, really sweet.
That's awesome.
Did you all hear about that? I mean, we're all big fans of Canadian players in the Canadian game, especially that went to school in Canada. Did you hear about that unique stat that came out of Winnipeg a couple of weeks ago? There was the first time in CFL history, it's with the Bombers, that two players, one on the ground for 1,000 yards, one receiving for 1,000 yards, that Brady Oliveira and Nick Dembski, both Canadians, both from Winnipeg, and both went to the same high school. So that was an aside, but it's the first time in CFL history that we have two Canadians who have that 1,000-yard mark on the same team on the ground.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
and
very
I think
cool.
We're seeing. I remember when I was Cohen and Riley's age, that people said, "Oh, there's no way we're ever going to see these elite players as Canadians. They just get sent in to block, and that's that." But we're now seeing it. We're seeing the running backs, and I mean, the first Canadian to ever win MVP and Canadian at a Grey Cup. Andrew Harris. So
except that he cheated. So it has to be the first one who won it legitimately would be Enoch Mwamba, and he deserved it.
There you go.
That was fine. But the one that the other guy's a cheater. So the guy that didn't cheat is the true first one to win both.
Well said.
Thanks.
Oh, all praises to Enoch.
Yep, exactly. And he had a much better acceptance speech than Andrew Harris did. Enoch made me cry. That was amazing. He was so excited.
I think Andrew got angry at everybody, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you take steroids. You get grumpy.
Cheaters. I was actually looking at a list of the Crichton Trophy winners the other day, and it was amazing how many ended up playing for the Green and Gold.
Right.
Wow.
At some point. Wow. I mean, Mike Eben, Brian Fryer, Bob Cameron was actually even drafted by us.
Yeah. Bob Cameron? Really?
Yeah, he was a quarterback as well as a punter and kicker. Greg and Blake Marshall, the brothers, Greg Vavra. Wow. Who else was in there? Donnie Blair, Mark Nora, Kojo Aidu, Jesse Lumsden.
Where did Greg Vavra actually? He didn't end up with us, did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He was with Calgary, but he was with Edmonton as well.
He was with Calgary mainly.
Yeah, but I mean, he played a couple years for us, so.
Because apparently, it was either this weekend or next weekend. Trey Ford will have played more consecutive games as a Canadian quarterback since Vavra and Rourke, and that's like 9 or 10 or 11 or whatever it is.
Yeah, Vavra was here in 86, 88, 83.
Yeah.
I don't think he played necessarily in 83. Maybe he didn't even play in 86. Definitely played in 88.
Yeah, I was going to say he didn't. He did,
But he was in
yeah.
Calgary in 86, 87?
He was
Or
in
after?
Calgary in 84, 85.
Yeah, so he must have played with Garrett Dahl, who's at the tailgate, who Santander plays for
Probably.
Ottawa.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Oh, cool. Very cool. Well,
So how do we get Tyrell Ford here?
That would be great.
I think this is going to be an interesting offseason. It'll be a bit of a preview for next week, but I would have to think that the number one priority of the Elks in this offseason is to sign Trey Ford to an extension.
Yes.
Because if they do not get a 3-year extension on him now, at the end of next season, he's going home.
Yeah.
He's going to go back to Hamilton. And
Oh God, no!
Wow, I never thought of that. They'll back up the Brinks truck for him. Absolutely.
And anybody right now would, right? So
Toronto wouldn't, but I think anyone else.
I think they have to. Yeah, they're going to have to get him probably lower end starter money with a bunch of incentives, which I would be good with. But they have to because he's going into the third year of his rookie contract. They're going to need to make sure that it's locked down, and that's going to be a huge thing for them in this offseason. And if it's not one of the first things that they announce, it's going to be worrisome, honestly. Because they should have that already signed and ready to go. And if they announce it before Grey Cup, like that's fine, or immediately after, like that.
You're right. They've announced Chad Kelly already. Why haven't we heard about Trey Ford's extension? That's a good point.
Well, right now, Chris Jones, he tends to, when they have any contract type things like that, he tends to wait till after the season. It's not often that to announce them. Yes, they don't usually make a big deal of it during the season. Now, I know they did the Mark Cordy one, like you just said, Josh, but that's not the usual with Chris Jones. They announce it later, so because they want him to focus on the season, right? So,
do you think that Rick Lawlisher, from a promotions perspective, is encouraging to do this because they're trying to sell tickets?
I would think after this game that there is. I would think that that conversation is likely happening. I would have to think so. So get on the same page, make it happen. Right?
Who's the guy that writes for Football at the Journal? Gary
Jerry.
He was saying that there's no excuse for the Elks not making Trey Ford the absolute face of this franchise. A Canadian, a young dad, a young family man, and an inspiration to players, kids who are playing football now in club or in high school and going into college. That anyone can do it. He should be everywhere for this team.
So I see the comment here from Ken. I'm not sure how the team does that with Cornelius pulling down $300K. Well, Cornelius is going to either have to rework his contract or
there was some guaranteed money. I'm not sure how much of it's going to be in this year.
I think the guaranteed money was in the third year. So I don't know exactly how much that is, but I heard
it's 125,000 guaranteed.
Pay it out now and cut him. I mean, that's a possibility, right?
Right, like that's
not saying that we should do. But
no
way around it.
No, but I think the fact of the matter is you sit down and say, okay, you're going to be in a different role, so this is, and you don't have to cut it completely, right? But but if he's not going to work with it, then you do probably have to cut him and carry on, right? Like, because it's obvious to me that Trey Ford is the starter, and like you said, Josh, you're going to make him the face, so you've got to pay him that way, or at least to some degree. Like, he's still not a proven quarterback, so I wouldn't say that you go and pay him $300
as a rookie Canadian. I'm not sure how much like they had in BC. With, I don't know how much they can actually give him when he's still in that rookie contract.
So really? I didn't know that.
No, but I'm talking about the extension, right? Like, if there is a rule that they have to, if they have to
There's
keep
a maximum
the same
maximum
for his third year, great, you pay him the maximum, but then you backfill it for those other 2 years
Correct.
with guaranteed money in the third year.
Yeah.
To keep him here, right? So they're going to have to do something like that. Yeah. Yep.
Commissioner, who his brother is on a practice squad somewhere.
No.
Correct?
No, right
He's
now he's
cut.
a free agent. Yeah.
From Green Bay?
Correct.
Yes.
So he is not playing right now.
Nope.
Correct.
And what's his position?
DB?
He's a corner. Yeah.
Wow, wouldn't that be
Well,
something?
defensive back. He's much like his brother. He's very flexible. He could probably
Correct.
play any spot on that defensive backfield.
Who owns his Canadian rights? Does anyone
Winnipeg.
know?
Winnipeg. Yep.
Now they released him
Yes.
to go to Green Bay. I don't know if that means the contract is over because he was released. I don't know how the CBA works for that.
Me either. Yeah. But maybe we'll see if Dave knows next week when we talk to him. We'll see
Yeah.
how that- Yeah. All right.
Having both forward, I mean, that would be a really nice incentive to make sure that
Wouldn't it?
Trey signs as you get to play
Wow.
with your brother again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And then his dad only needs an Elks jersey. It's great.
Just
I like
saying.
it.
Hey,
Yeah,
there's
Perfect.
There's an article, just quickly, the CFL's NFL window dictate that Ford will need to sign back with the Blue Bombers if he returns to the CFL before February 2025, which is when his original rookie contract would have expired.
Right. There you go.
Okay.
Unless he's traded to another team.
Correct.
So the Bombers would have to trade him to the Elks.
Trade his rights, essentially.
Trade his rights. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So, which I don't think they're going to really do. but-
No, not unless it's pretty sweet.
Right. Yeah. We'd have to sweeten that pot. Well, then we're going to have another high draft pick.
Oh yeah.
I mean, is it worth it?
Well, you're talking about trading a potential for someone that they did draft and is outstanding. So we'll see.
Yeah, but who doesn't really want to play there, obviously. So that's fine. He can
Well,
come
that's
play
fine.
there.
Yeah,
See,
that'd be
it's
great.
perfect. Yeah, I would not be upset if we had to trade a high pick because we're gonna. Ouch, dog! Don't do that.
Hi, puppy.
Oh man, he bopped my arm and bashed it into the table. Stop being a dork. There you go.
Does he have a
Alright.
comment about football business? Because I
Oh,
love.
no. He just wants to tackle me. That's all.
He just wants to chase the ball.
No, he doesn't like that. He just wants me to be constantly petting him. If I'm not petting him, there's something wrong in the world. So that's the important part.
I would not know this.
I was just gonna say we're gonna have the second overall pick. So I'm not saying that maybe we trade that one, but maybe the 11th overall pick.
For Terrell Ford.
Terrell Ford.
Second and third rounder?
Yeah,
Sure.
we'll see.
Maybe.
BT
Like-
Dubs, they actually look exactly alike. Like,
they're identical twins. Yeah.
no, I know, but like he was sitting in front of us in Toronto, and I was just like, wait a minute, if you didn't have hair, I would
Right.
be like, why are you
They
here,
really-
Trey?
They really are identical twins. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were 3 sets of twins in that draft, and
Yeah.
we ended up getting a piece of 2 of them. So
Well, and we have. Or did we
Woodley-
release? Do we have the Apollons? I thought we had both
yeah,
now.
we have them both.
Yeah, we have both.
When we drafted, though, we had a piece. I mean,
Yes. Yeah. That's.
May I ask about Geno Lewis? Is he for 1 year?
2 year.
Like he's a 2 year at three whatever it is per year.
well, Tim was thinking that it was $1 million for the contract, which would make it a 3-year. So
Oh,
Hmm.
interesting.
Okay.
I hope it's a 3-year.
I hope so too. None of this 1 year and
Yeah.
one and done stuff.
no, it was at
Yeah,
least a 2.
garbage.
So we will see.
What about the Dunbars and the Moores of the world? Are they
I
for
don't know.
multiple years?
That's why I wish there was that sort of cap geek for CFL. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be
Yeah.
nice to know what going into next year
What it looks like.
they're looking like.
Well, I'm sure before long there will be lots of guesstimates that will be
Yes.
coming out. I've seen them before, so I'm sure that there'll be something coming out before long that says this is kind of where they think they are at. So,
And Andrew, would you keep Cobb on?
oh, 100%.
Hundo P.
Hundo P. His next, his next year is his third year of his rookie contract.
He was drafted the
So,
same as
Yeah,
Trey.
so he will be around anyway.
And really, he's a rookie because
Ian-
he didn't play.
Yeah, Enoch McConzo still will be in his third because all 3 of them are in the same year, so they're all going to be on their their third year of their rookie contract. So
sorry, Superfan, if you don't play because you're out of injury, you don't count towards your rookie.
It counts. Okay. It's just he was a rookie this year because he did not play at all last year, but it still counted towards the contract itself. You could be injured for all 3 years and then you're a free agent.
Okay. Chris Agar saying that Gino is a 3-year. There you go.
Yeah.
So that's great. So what they need to do, this is all doing what we're going to talk about next week, but what they need to do is find some upgrades on that offensive line so that Trey has time to get Gino the ball.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gino and Gavin and
Gino needs to see the ball 7 or 8 times a game, not 4. And how many times was that going to be going to him? And
he had 9 targets in the last game and caught 7.
Game, but the games before it has not been that many.
We've also been running the ball a lot more too. So I want to make sure Gino's actually getting the ball, because otherwise he's like, I would be upset if I'm Gino. Do you know who I am? I'm Gino Lewis. Get me the damn ball. The amount of money he's getting paid, you should be getting
hit him
14 targets.
Hit him in the slant in the middle. Let him take off. That's next week's title of the podcast.
Excellent.
Hit him in the slant. Yeah.
Hit him in the slant. Andrew, who's the weakest link on the O-line right now?
Okay.
I don't want to get in that much trouble.
Do it.
In code.
Well,
not Corty.
Not Cordy.
And not Boyko.
And not
Boyko.
No. The other 3 need to be assessed. I'm not going to say who the weakest link, or who I believe the weakest link is, because obviously I know a lot less than Chris Jones or any of those people who are running an offense. But in the amount of time that I've watched, there's one that I feel is the lowest, and I'm not going to tell you here. I'm just going to say that there's the other 3. They need to be assessed.
Have we heard it before?
Yeah, probably. Martez Ivy is a I thought he played better last year than he did this year. Mm-hmm. But out of those 3, no, I thought he played left last year too.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did think out of the other 3, I thought Martez Ivy was the strength. Like the strongest of those 3. But the other 2, I really thought Jack Cardillo would make a big step this year, and maybe didn't make as big a step as I would like.
I don't think they were. Sometimes they weren't as consistent. There were sometimes like they were rated like some of the other players in that spot.
Yeah.
Whether it's Josiah St. John or Thomas Jack Cardillo or David Foucault, like they were ranked very highly week to week.
Right.
In some of those rankings, and then other weeks they just wasn't
when
there.
They were running the ball. But as soon as they go to a different pass game, I'm quite sure it is very different, because
it's also against who are they playing against? It's quality of opponent.
That's fair. Yeah. Because when they're playing those top 4 teams, like I feel sorry for Trey. Like he's a young kid who's trying to learn how to make the decisions and get the proper decisions in, and not being given the time. If you watch Toronto, the top teams, the Toronto, not as much Winnipeg
Chad
this year.
Kelly could just pitch a hammock there and
oh my god,
read a couple of books before he has to throw the ball.
And a lot of times Vernon too. He's got all day, and if you give those guys time, they'll find the open.
Any professional quarterback time.
Right. Well, maybe not Drew Willie. Let's not get carried away. I mean, there are some of them that just didn't, let's not get
But you loved it when he played.
I sure did, because the references were outstanding. Yeah. It was the greatest show ever. Yeah.
It was the gift that kept on giving.
That's right. If we ever did a fantasy like where you had to draft players, I would make sure that Kayla got Drew Willie, because that would make me laugh like every week. Be like,
I want Ted White.
You're starting Willie? Yeah. No. What?
Was David Beard traded, or was he cut? He was traded.
He was traded to Hamilton.
Salary dump, because if he was still here, our front 3 would be all Canadians, and they would be pretty robust.
Our front 3 are all Canadians anyway.
Yes.
Yep. So,
but it also would have been like at the time, the two most expensive offensive linemen were Mark Cordy
yes,
and David Beard.
David Beard.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay.
So
It
it's
was
like
the salary
that's a
now.
lot of money on an offensive line that wasn't producing.
Right.
And not saying that they weren't both outstanding. It's just we had a way less money for the rest of the offensive line. So
I'm curious too, because Grahovic might take a step this next year. He did get some time this year, and
with a second pick, we might get a great offensive lineman.
right, you never know.
Step in right away. You never know.
Maybe Carter O'Donnell will come back. No, not a chance. But you know, I'm really
at offensive tackle. That'd be impressive.
Could you imagine?
Ooh. Yes,
That'd
I
be
have
amazing.
for the last several years. So
yes.
yeah.
Well, if
It
he
has
came
not
back,
helped.
if he could come back and play left, then you could start all 5 Canadians. That'd be great.
Wow.
I'm down for that. Because Boyko's Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's from Alberta.
Yep. That's perfect. Anyway, lots of preview for next week when we talk about all these things with Dave and Marley. Yes.
I love those podcasts with Dave and Marley. They're so honest.
Yeah,
so
they're so much fun. Superfan.
They don't know we broadcast it. So yeah, we do actually.
Yeah, okay, excellent. Yes.
They're like, what am I talking to this thing for? No reason. Just keep going. Ken did suggest a great new show, Edmonton Elks Lower Decks. That would be great.
I love Lower Decks.
Awesome.
I love Lower Decks. And in fact, my 8-year-old daughter is starting to fall for it, which is getting her into Star Trek, which can only lead to good things.
That can only lead to good things. Tim Capper is asking, any estimates on how many fans are being displaced? And the number I saw was 3,700.
Okay. Yeah. I hadn't actually seen a number as of yet. So.
It was ironically on 3Down.
Was it?
So,
oh, neat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You should try reading it.
I really should. Yeah. I only read this one guy's article.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm kidding.
I'm sorry, but if I'm only reading an article, it's
and
going
it's
to be my
Joel
own.
Gasson. That's the only one. Yeah, that's the only one I'm reading. Yeah. Actually, his roundups every week on the TSN broadcasts are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love them. They make me laugh. They're very good. Yeah.
The Tim also asked, did the EE hint at season ticket prices staying status quo for 24?
Well, if
you're
you're being grandfathered, then yes, they're staying the same, right?
Yeah.
But
we were surprised that by moving down, and I was talking to Andrew about this at Tailgate too. When they stuck us under the underpass, I thought I keep saying underpass. The underhang.
Underhang, yep.
Yeah.
I thought that was worth more, and he said, Andrew, you said that it was that was dropped a long time ago, as far as it being a more expensive ticket.
It's just that section, yeah.
Yeah, and so, but they're sticking with our price point where we were, when it was not the higher part of the section upper deck, but the lower part.
Mm-hmm.
And they said for another year, maybe even 2.
Awesome.
But my understanding is that they're bringing people in the lower deck down so that everything kind of evens out. And then if maybe they'll wait for equilibrium and raise it all at the same time.
It's entirely possible.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to remember too, like it's a professional sports league.
Yes.
Right? Like
Yeah, absolutely.
I try to think about that, because when I was thinking about even my own tickets,
Go to an Oilers game.
Correct. Like I can still get 18 games for less than it is to go to an Oilers game, for like one ticket for one Oiler game, and 10 or 11 Elks.
10.
It's gonna be 11 next year.
Yes.
Calling
But
it
this
right now.
year.
It's gonna be 11 next year.
Yeah.
So it's not a horrible price.
You know what? I get free tickets to Oilers, and I still spend $100 before I've left that.
So you had 2 beer? Nice.
I was gonna say no. You just
Exactly.
park. Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. More questions.
Let's see what's going on here. Talking about Aaron Grimes, Ken is wondering if Aaron Grimes will actually see the field again. It's been tough, him missing the last couple of seasons. And he's 4?
I believe so.
35?
I think it was 34.
He's a hell of an athlete. So if anyone's going to be able to come back and make this happen, it's going to be Grimes. So I would absolutely love to see it. Speaking of people that are fan favorites, Aaron Grimes is one.
Easily.
He's 32.
Oh, see, there you go.
So
he just started playing so young.
Yep. Yeah, he's 32.
Oh, so then he's definitely got more years.
Well, he'll be 33 in March. So
right.
Yep.
But still 33, you still got a good 3 years left in you for sure.
Oh yeah.
For most average people. So
he can play till
he'll come back and he'll win a Grey Cup with us and retire.
Right. Then he can start coaching.
That's correct. I do hope that he does that. I hope he's able to get right into some type of positional coaching.
Ever since they put the football operations cap in, we've seen a lot less of that, unfortunately. We saw JC Sherritt have to go to Calgary and then go to the States to become a coach because there's just no room because we have the maximum number of coaches and our salary cap on those coaches, which, again, I think is just helping nobody. As an aside, a friend and I went to Craig Ellis's house because he had a crate full of VHS tapes he wants converted. And some of them are when he coached bantam football here in town.
No way.
So it's very, very cool.
Who did he coach with? Do you remember?
It was the Palmer. What was the name of the team? It's a team out of St. Albert. And this is 88 and 89. Took him to the city championships back-to-back years.
Wow.
I had forgotten that he was out of football in 88. So he was in Edmonton coaching and playing flag football.
Wow.
Just waiting to get back in, and then was with the team in 89 and was like, everyone said he was sort of the comeback player of the year.
Wow.
But even while he played in 89, he was coaching the Palmer 49ers was the name of the bantam team in 88 and 89.
Jeez.
Oh, cool.
Not a
well, we gotta get Craig on here, I guess.
100%.
Do some chatting with him.
He just sat and was telling us stories while we're trying to hold this giant box of VHS tapes. We're just like, whatever, we just want to get this out. So
yeah, exactly.
Superman, you've talked about the non-player salary cap before.
100%.
Do you think that it'll expire sometime? Do you think that we'll get past this?
I'm not sure what they're trying to solve with it so much as, to me, the more coaches, the more brain power you have in the league, the better the product is. And I asked the question, if the Toronto Argonauts go 16-2, so they win their next 2 games, does that make them the greatest Argonaut team ever? And so the discussion I was having with our friend Will at Argo Fans and a few other Argo fans that are out there is, are they that much better than, say, the 97 Argonauts, or is the quality of opponent less in 2023, 2022?
Right.
So that's hard to say. And I think that because we are having less and less of these coaches, and we're getting a lot less young coaches because we're just recycling existing coaches, having that football operations cap just seems to be like we're losing more and more bright young minds because either they're not getting into coaching or they're going to the States because there's just no room in Canada.
Is it trying to get parity because some teams can't afford a coaching staff? And if that's the case, I find that frustrating because I think every team right now can afford really good coaches.
Yeah.
And we're
can they or will?
Sorry, say again?
Can they or will they pay that money for coaching?
Right.
Some people might just be cheap. I don't know.
I don't know. I go back and forth on this. I don't even, if they really feel like they need it for some type of cost certainty, go ahead, put a dollar figure on it and say it's this many dollars, but don't limit the number of coaches that you could have.
Right.
And if you want to bring in a young coach and you're going to pay them less and they agree to it, at least you get a young coach with a new brain that can then add something.
Maybe
to the
move
game.
into a coordinator position.
Correct. Yeah. Like try to set yourself up with some, what do you call that? Continuity planning. No. You know what I mean? When somebody needs to take over for you? What do you?
Succession planning.
Succession planning. Thank you. That's the word that I could not remember.
So I like continuity planning. It's a good word.
It's not bad. I mean, same kind of thing. But I think if if you wanted to put a dollar limit on it and then you get your cost certainty that you're all worried about, great. But don't limit the number of coaches, because if they want to take less and they can have 12 coaches instead of 10, like, or you pay more and there's 10 of them, like whatever, like they can figure that out. But I think that's a limiting factor for sure, is you've got money and you only have this number as well,
Right.
which is a pain. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I just can't see that there's teams that can't afford it. There's all the deep pockets on the East Coast right now.
But a lot of them are losing money, right? So that's eventually they're like, I can only lose money for so long.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
How many owners have we seen in Montreal and Toronto in the last 15 years? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I ran? Did you guys run into? Is it Pierre Carl Palado or Carl Pierre Palado? I think it's Pierre Carl.
Yes, Pierre Carl.
Pierre Carl.
PKP,
Yeah, I ran into him on Sunday after coming up watching Cassie dance on the field, and I was like, "Oh, hey, it's nice to have you in the league. Congratulations!" You know, that kind of thing. And he seems genuinely excited to be here, just like Bob in Hamilton. So I feel like sometimes, caretaker Bob. I just feel like sometimes there's more to it than losing money. It's like, yeah, we genuinely believe in this and we want it
for a while, but even if it's 10 or 12 years, it's got to be tough. Yeah. Granted, they're billionaires, so what the
but yeah, exactly. With a B, yes, as
exactly.
Says, yeah, with a B, not a yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what else we got in here? So Ken has a point. While the defense only gave up 9 points, they gave up a ton of yardage, around 250 yards in the second half. To me, that's a bend, don't break, though.
Correct. That's precisely what I was just going to say. It's a bend, don't break. But the other part of it is remember, in the end of the third and basically the entire fourth, they were dead tired because it was 2 and out, 2 and out, 2 and out on offense. So, of course, they're going to give up yards.
Conservative.
Correct. But they're not giving up points. Yeah. Cliffy D says, or billionaire Pierre, as we like to call him. Yeah.
Nice. Tim also says the Als strip sack, scoop, and score was the catalyst for sure.
Agreed.
Ken says the Elks are a very fragile team emotionally when things do not go their way. Also the youngest team in the league, so I think the two might go hand in hand.
Oh,
give them a few more, a year of experience, and I think that may change.
Very true.
Let's see.
I'm waiting for Kayla to actually just like fall asleep on camera. We got like 10 minutes. Then we'll finish.
We're getting close here. Yeah. So Cliffy says he's booked his hotel room in Toronto for the Eastern Final.
Yep.
That is a bold prediction, my friend.
He has. Yep.
And a bankrupting one too. Jeez.
Well, as long as you get one that you can cancel 24 hours beforehand or 48 hours beforehand, it's fine, right? Yeah. So what?
Sorry. No, they're just really expensive. I couldn't believe it.
The hotels in Toronto? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure. Yeah.
So not like the days of the 2012 Grey Cup where you could get a hotel for like $140 a night downtown.
Yeah, no.
I got a suite for that.
Wow.
Yeah, because they didn't realize it was Grey Cup. So
holy man.
Sweet. Literally.
When I went to Ottawa in 2017, I got a suite and it was like $110 a night or something. It's like, okay, this is lovely. Like I had a full kitchen, like the whole deal. Amazing. Wow. Yeah.
Our friend Scout says Kayla out here throwing it down with a shirt. Love it.
They are great shirts. Yes,
absolutely. Ken says there is talk that Oliveira will sit this week against the Elks.
Ooh.
Oh.
They want him fresh.
Everybody pick Johnny Augustine in your fantasy.
There you go.
If you're still playing fantasy.
If you're still playing fantasy. So.
Yeah. I didn't last week. I was like, no, I don't have time. Whatever.
Congratulations to Ryan for winning this year.
Yeah.
And to Steph for runner-up.
Yeah.
She had a hell of a season.
What a
for
season.
Someone that was just hoping she wouldn't end up in the last.
Yeah.
She got all the way to the final and was crushing it. So
was in the Champions League. Like she was playing. Yeah, she played amazingly well. was awesome.
So don't sleep on her next year for sure.
No, not at all. By the way, Kayla, I like the fact that that shirt fits you because mine is a touch more form fitting. So I put that one on.
Yes, I'm maybe swimming in it a bit.
The word you're looking for, Andrew, is sausage casing.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, trust me, I tried it.
Yeah, did you? Yeah.
I'm like wearing this one today.
Yeah, that's why I decided this one was good. Yeah.
Or skipping a couple of desserts or 30.
Yeah.
Nah.
And Andrew, you're bald now. You could be Mr. Clean for Halloween. If I went to the gym for 6 years, yes, you're right. I could be
Mr. Clean after retirement.
Correct. Yeah. Mr. Kinda Clean.
Yeah. Mr. Somewhat tidy.
Somewhat tidy. I was just gonna say
That'd be
Mr.
great.
Tidy. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's kind of where I land. Yeah.
Ken also says, for what it's worth, Vernon Adams says he will play this week.
Oh, good. Okay, well,
and I've heard actually coach as well. Campbell said that
he's good to go.
Yeah, unless something bad happens, he could be playing.
Okay, well, that's good.
Well, he hasn't quite gotten cleared yet, though, has he?
No, he has to get cleared first.
No.
I mean, I would love to see it regardless of the outcome, just because you want to see the great playmakers out there. So
yes,
it's as much as sitting on there might be the smart play sometimes. We were here to be entertained. So
you know how Josh was making a list? I'm making a list of all the players who have hurt my guys. So just watch out, Calgary.
Current guys or anyone in the last 5-6 years?
Just this year. Just
top
this
5,
year.
top 10.
Because there's a defensive tackle who's on Ottawa now.
Yeah, Cam Judge is on my list for sure.
He's on everyone's list. Micah always on everyone's list.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Although Cam Judge is just a heck of a player and has the coolest dad ever.
Who's the Edmontonian that took up Michael Riley?
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
Lang?
Leon Lang. Yeah.
Leon Lang.
Who injured Mike Riley 3 times. Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Was in Toronto and injured Mike Riley 3 times in just over a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always wondered if he would come and play with Edmonton.
Ooh, I don't know how well popular it'd be.
Yeah, exactly. Blake is saying that Vernon's been full at practice yesterday and today, and
outstanding.
He's practice tomorrow. So.
Blake also says he's hoping that Winnipeg rests everyone. So I'm just saying, you can play them all next week.
Just play
Calgary.
The first quarter and let Edmonton get up 20 points, and then just wave the flag and say we're good. It's fine. We need to rest now. Yeah,
I'm just saying we don't want to have a quarterback get hurt.
Correct. Don't want that to happen. Right. No, we don't want Drew Brown playing. We did that once. It didn't work well.
Right. But
I thought you were trying to hypnose somebody with that.
Yeah,
we don't want Drew Brown.
That's a Jedi.
That's a Jedi move. Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to play the quarterback.
No, yeah, you don't. Kenny Lawler is not ready to play this week.
These are not the players you're looking for.
That's right. Yeah.
See, that's my cameo in Star Wars. These are not. But that's all I would do.
It's perfect.
Hire you on the spot.
Thank you.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
What else we got here? Blake also said Kayla wants chaos. How about Lions sacking Jake Mayer 10 times?
Ooh,
I'm here for that.
I would be okay with that. Yep.
Do it.
And let Betts get 5 of them. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Thank God we let him go.
Thank goodness. Yeah, because, he's never going to show up in this league.
Yeah, he was the worst. It was a good thing he got him.
Yep.
Yeah. Terrible. Yeah. So Blake also said he has tuned in to the Alouettes flight deck. And
awesome.
Tim says, Blake, we have a post-game show on YouTube as well, which was kind of fun. They had a gorgeous view on the last one.
They sure did.
Oh, man, did they ever.
Kayla and I were watching it in the parking lot after the game.
I know. Yeah. No.
envious. What the heck?
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Wait a second. Why are you
It's our
getting?
stadium.
We don't even get that. Yeah. What the hell? Yeah.
Chris is saying a couple of Argo buddies of his are doing 18 of the 18 Argo games this season. That's awesome.
Amazing.
Oh, nice.
And Cliffy says Got to start an LLC for the podcast so we can start writing off these road trip games as a business expense.
That's right. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see what else we got here. Oh my goodness, I skipped ahead apparently a little bit.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. There we go. Blake's talking about I'll check yours if you check mine. I don't know. I'm thinking somewhat podcast, so let's talk about that.
That must be.
Tim was saying it was a pleasure to have Commonwealth as my first Western Canada stadium visited.
Excellent.
Love that.
As it should be. Yes.
Absolutely. So that was kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing.
Chris Agar talking about cutting his hair if we do get a return touchdown.
Yeah.
Above all, we want to raise money for youth cancer treatment research. So
yes,
we do joke about it a lot, but ultimately behind it all is something that would be absolutely phenomenal.
Yes.
Is raising money for one of the best causes I could think of. So,
yep, I agree.
All right. Cliff, the hair is spoken for.
Well, that's because Cliff said that he wanted to see his rug in the Elks store.
Right. And so then Cliff said, okay, I can accept that. Maybe weave a lock of the hair into a reasonable facsimile and put that in the display case.
Fair enough. Yeah,
that's fair. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess Oilers won. Good for them. What's a hockey?
Well, it was like 6-1 or something, and when I turned it off.
Could have gone either way.
Yeah, it was close. Yeah.
Pull the goalie.
Correct, as they should have.
Ken says I would like
Mazzoli?
Yes.
That's all I heard.
Oh no, pull the goalie is what.
Oh, I think Holy Mazzoli.
We hear what we want to hear.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ken says I would like the team to pick up at least 2 offensive linemen during the offseason.
Yeah, well, I think there's got to be a focus there for sure.
You've got to push who you've got. I mean, all of them at this point as well, right?
Yeah, I don't even know, but I don't even know who's going to be available. Like that's the thing, right? We have to wait and see free agent lists and all those other fun things. So
yeah, Ken says weird. We dumped Beard last year. Only give his money to Cordy. We were giving that money to Cordy anyway, and had Beard. So it's not that we all of a sudden took all this money and gave it to Cordy. He was already the second highest paid offensive lineman in the league.
Yeah,
when he was with us, and we had Beard, who was number 1. So yeah. Kristen says if Beard were still here, we wouldn't have Gino in green and gold, but we had Kenny Lawler.
Right. Yeah.
Gino fair. All day.
I got
absolutely.
I agree with you. Yes. Yeah.
I agree. So yeah, Sir Hugo, our friend Jerry, did guess the Palmer 49ers. That is correct.
Oh, there you go. Wow. Look at that. Look at Jerry coming out with all the getting it all set up. Excellent.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say if I ever have questions about something like a bantam foot, like lots of questions I have.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
I mean, he was probably punting for them, so
probably. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Tyler says Bill Comrie said he lost money the seasons when Lions won the cup. Probably not surprising because if you're playing, especially if you're playing away games, you're still paying them for those games and you're not getting any income.
Oh right, I guess that's true.
Yeah. So.
Yep. And the travel from
my God, that's right. Bill Comrie owned the BC Lions. I forgot about it.
And the Edmonton Brickmen.
Yeah.
As in Mike Comrie's dad?
Yeah.
Yes.
As in the founder of the Brick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What?
And he famously was never part of the Oilers ownership group after Pocklington. He refused to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what? Because he was one of the wealthiest people in the city.
Yeah.
Reasons unknown.
He claimed that it's because his son was playing or coming up to play, and eventually, of course, his son did play with Edmonton.
2 of them did,
and he didn't want to be. He didn't want to be the owner that had the kid playing. As
nepotism.
Yeah. He had Paul Comrie play for the Oilers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It was all because he was begrudging Pocklington for getting rid of the greatest player that ever played the game. Yeah.
Selling the greatest player. Reminded my son of that. He sold him.
Yes. That's true.
Much like Edmonton at the time Eskimos did with Jackie Parker.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
Oh. Slightly more money for Gretzky, but yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a little.
Only 1,000 times.
Yeah, only
18 grand versus 18 million. What the hell?
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. Nothing. Pocket change.
Yeah, we're getting to the end here. Ken says no Niles Morgan today at practice. I think,
Nope,
Niles
he's
is
done.
done for the season, much like J-Min.
Mhm.
And at this point, why risk a chance of getting severely injured when you're
Re-injured.
trying to, recuperate from what you've got? So
Is this risk of career ending, or is it just a nagging thing?
well, he's been out for a few weeks now with an injury, and I think that if he hasn't fully recovered from it, then don't risk it.
Don't, yeah.
For Niles, we know with J-Man it was appendicitis. So
If Niles had played the full
recovery
season, I
from it.
mean, I think he is the MODP candidate for Edmonton.
I was going to say, is he not?
I think he would be anyway.
Yeah, he is. It's just yeah.
Oh, next week we get to talk about Mool.
That's true.
Right, there is only Mool.
Most outstanding offensive lineman.
Kayla's like, what? We've only been doing that joke for like 8 years, Kayla. Like, there is only Mool.
There's only so much space that I keep relevant. That is not relevant to me.
No, I'm just gonna say it's not relevant to anyone.
Just like why you don't
flick that.
Why don't you? I've often wondered why you all don't like replace Dana with Kayla. There is no Kayla.
There is no. Yeah,
there is no Dana. Only Zool.
There is no Kalos.
Oh, apparently, according to Chris, Kayla asked to be the shearer, by the way.
Oh, you're going to be the shearer of the hair? Ooh,
there
fancy.
Better be cameras.
Yeah, well, yeah, we want to stream that on YouTube when that happens.
Come on, let's make this happen.
Yeah, well, when the time comes, we're going to...
Maybe we can do it at Grey Cup, because it's going to happen next week, but maybe we can just extend it to Grey Cup, and then you can have a whole,
this is a good idea.
Event for it.
I like this.
Ken says it was a hamstring injury with Morgan.
All coming together.
Blake 3622 for anyone who wants to check it out. Again, we can never get enough CFL podcasts. I co-host a post-game Lions show on a YouTube channel called Coast to Coast Gridiron.
Oh,
so now I'm going to check that out. Added to my list.
Yes.
Tim says, Kayla, we were thinking of you when we met up with Gino Saturday night.
Yeah, I saw that you guys met up with Gino.
I didn't get the phone
any
call?
of us would like to be part of that? Or...
I specifically asked to be phoned if that was the case.
Ice cream.
So, we
met up with Gino.
We treat you to the tailgate.
Had to give him his mail back. So.
And I don't know about this. That seems a little... They even had to come to my house on Saturday night to pick up Cliff's shirt again. It was not mentioned. I was like, interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
Next time. Next time.
Think a little. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the whole reason I'm doing that.
Although, we still owe him an ice cream field trip.
Yeah, we do.
As you suggested.
It's an off season.
Yep. We'll get a hold of him next week.
That sounds like a May kind of thing, if anything.
Yeah, ice cream's for everything. Every day.
I'm not sure in the off season where he'll be.
Before he leaves town. Okay, let's go have some ice cream.
And in May.
And then in May again.
In May.
Correct. Yes. In May, before training camp, if at all possible, we have to
before
we said we'd have to go to a Stingers game and then go for ice cream.
See?
With Gino.
Oh yeah. It's all we're gonna.
Yeah.
And then for the hair, I think this is a good spot to wrap it up. Chris does say that CFL Fans Fight Cancer is a great time and place.
Touche. Oh, so I have to get a ticket. Okay.
There we go.
You don't need a ticket to that. You just show up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we are you and I are going straight to that after the Spirit Breakfast. So.
Oh.
Yep. So it's gonna be fun.
Oh, I am voluntold.
Yes.
Correct. Yes, you are. Yeah.
And Gino didn't get a cool Kayla t-shirt, if that makes you feel better.
Well, that kind of, well, okay, but yeah, no, it doesn't really make me feel a whole lot better. I love the shirt, but still.
Although, if I saw Gino wearing this, I would die.
Especially with how tight it would have been on him. Yeah.
Would you die, like, happy or unhappy, or
of
shame? I don't know which one it is.
All of the above.
Okay,
wouldn't care.
That's what I thought. Okay. All right.
God
the facial expression, yeah. Yeah.
I do just want to say I saw a big fan in the chat talking about the people moving from upper to lower deck, and big fan. We did talk about that at the beginning of the podcast. So if you go back to grab that, then you'll get our feelings on that same
100%.
question. So I'll make sure I commented on that because I don't know if he caught the beginning of the show. So Josh, thank you again for joining us. It was so much fun.
Take
We
care,
always
friends. I
love
love you.
having you. Always love having you on, man. And we will do this more often. We'll bring you on in the off season when we talk
Yes.
about Trey Ford getting an extension and watch you just
Yes.
be giddy. It'll be wonderful. Yeah,
Woo,
Putting
I
those
love it.
positive vibes out there.
yeah,
Yes,
absolutely. Commissioner, Superfan, we will see you next week with Dave and Morley.
Yes.
We will be here to talk about the entire season. We will recap the Winnipeg game a little bit, but mostly we are going to talk about the season in general and what our predictions and things are for the off season for the Edmonton Elks. So make sure you're joining us next Tuesday night at 8:30.
Bring your coffee. It's going to be a long one.
It'll be
Bring you popcorn.
It's gonna be a long one. I'll see if I can make it work. We'll try and start at 8, maybe. It might be better to start early because that one will go for a while. Anyway, so for Josh, Commissioner Kayla, and Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't get footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you next.
All right.